You've got Joey options. You've got Tariff. You'll have lessons. You get some trading. There's plenty of small caps moving. And as I said, we'll be back a little bit later after we have some delicious salad lunch for us, apparently.
Oh, boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options, and I am Sharif. And YouTube, come on, bro. We're going to make people come over here a little bit faster. We got Black Hawk. JP, we got the OG Darwin, Got Rats and Fiddleback. Shout out to Charlie, Taff, and Skull. Gorev, the OG. Mike D. Ryder. We got Shenanigans. Love that. Juan Padilla and Pitchbull. Stuart and Brandon Franklin. How about Hytham, Yasin, and Jesse? Mitch, the Permable, my man. We got YV and Hamiz, Adrian, Cityboy 305, and Vern, Nick, Misham. We got Martinez and Dan Gale. How about Ozan, China? We got my man there, Sharvan. We got Super something or another. It just moves too fast. Abdulaziz Ismatov. Are you from? Yeah. Dan Gale, Mary S. Lyman, and Day Trader Cut, Halput Sports and Stonks, and Judge Shack, Rogelio Concepcion. Shout out to you, my man. We got Pats. We got Sadiq, Sean B. Ranjan, Ed of the Woods. I like that. Ed of the Woods. Ronaldo. Who else over here? Young Talent the Great. Sub back to you, my man. We got Common Sense. These are great names today, man. Dennis Inc. Who else? Normal Special. China, he yells. I love it. Demon Haunted House. What is going on here? 1320. Oh, E-Nile. Couple more. Let's see. Some names that I haven't seen before. I am Huang Nima, and I already said that one, HTX Trader. So I guess you're from Houston. Shout out to everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. It is an interesting day, to say the least, on these markets, Joseph, but at least most of the major averages are positive.
Yeah, we'll take some positivity. There's no doubt about that right now, Sharif. But it seems that some of these big names are moving sideways. We're in some NVDA right now. We had multiple setups, and we were adding here. I started really small, but then once that headline came out, we got stopped out. So we don't want to hold on to those losers for too long. But we're right back in this. I believe that we can continue to climb here in NVDA. It's looking like I want to hit the top of this range here. So that's going to put us around, what is that, 114-ish, 115? And I think that can be definitely in the works for today. Nice consolidation phase. And then now slowly grinding higher, getting back into some of the ground that it's lost earlier in the day here, guys. But now starting to break out. So good look here on NVDA. We need that volume to step in here, guys, and run through some key resistance zones, Sharif. I know you probably got a lot on the small cap gappers list. I'm going to say what we got going on the options chain real quick.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm pretty sure those contracts are still open at that 112, 113, and 114. Hence why we're seeing some overhead resistance right now, guys.
All right, guys, we're in DWTX right now. This is a VWAP trade, simple as that. I'm trying to give it to the 10 exponential, which currently on my chart, on the 5-minute, that is at 4 3/4, so 475. I'm long 496. Essentially, we're a couple of shekels out of the money, in the money, out of the money, as it zigs and zags at my level. So let this one cook. I either get stopped out or we move up and take some profits there above 5. It does look like it is zigging and zagging with that 10 exponential, so let's see if it catches a bid here. Here's what I'm looking at, though. There's a whole lot of small cap gapper-esque, small cap gapper-like stocks that are doing well today. Some are a holdover from yesterday, like your friend here, USAR. The big boys were talking about that. We'll keep an eye out on that one. This is up 23%, and it's not giving up the ghost. Like, this is yesterday's price action up into the dang right. Today, we make another new high. We hold yesterday's low. So it's all good in USAR world. However, that is the good side of the equation. As I always do, I'll give you both sides. That 14.5 has been a hard road to hoe, baby, because it has been hard to actually print anything above there, let alone close anything above there. I'm talking about USAR, as we can kind of see there on the chart. The best looking of the bunch, though, maybe not DWTX. I don't want to say that. MURA is a beauty. Look at this. I mean, just stair-stepping up. Not too many in the ways, or not too many candles that bamboozle you. You know, that kind of turn on a dime after they make a new high. There are a couple of topping tail candles, but that's just normal for these small cap gappers. What I like about this one is the umpteen times it has shown respect for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So we're going to keep an eye on this one. It looks like it's having trouble with 3, but that just could be a momentary thing before it ends up taking it out on a closing basis. Currently, the high of day, 310. So I did get stopped out of DWTX as it broke the 10 exponential. So we'll take a 20 penny loser quickly, just like that, to start the show, but by no means is that the end of the matter. So MURA, DWTX, I've got USAR, as I mentioned already, MTSR. This one might lose its spot awfully quickly here on the side chart. Looks like it's giving up the entire move today. Vero, not Veru. Shout out to my man Feifei. Where's he at, bro? Come on, Feifei, show yourself. There he is. Shout out to Feifei. We miss him around here. Good dude. So he used to be called the CEO of Veru. I don't know why he liked it, but he just liked the stock. Anyway, this is Vero. I don't know, Katina, man. He made claims, but we're not really sure. So VERO, fantastic look today. Again, another one that's very respectful of the 10 exponential on the 5. Not up big or anything like that, but 17 4/5 currently. MBOT, MBOT, another small percentage winner, but looks fantastic on the chart. That's one hell of a bull flag, finding support at the volume weighted average price at around 2 1/3, and now it knocks on the door of that 2.5. I'm talking about MBOT. We're going to keep an eye out on that one. There's more though, baby. EOSE, another decent percentage winner on the day, 17 1/3, not like, triple digits or anything, but another very consistent higher low, higher high pattern, one that obviously has been respectful of the 10 moving average. You can see all the pullbacks into that green solid line on my chart. That's the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, have been bought up. So EOSE certainly in focus today. Last but not least, Joseph, I know I got a little long-winded here. All right. MLGO. We all know MLGO. We've been watching micro algo for months and months and months. It's been a repeat offender in small cap gapper world. It's just found a great bounce off that volume weighted average price. Wicks down into that 12 1/3, quick as you frickin' like, right back up into that 12 4/5, looking to take out $13. MLGO is what I'm talking about. So even though we started the day 0 for 1, did this halt down? Wow, I got at a dodge there. Look at this. So use stops, people. So I got in, and this one, I'm talking about DWTX, halted down. Thankfully, I used hard stops, so I didn't end up being part of that halt down. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Likely going to set something up on EOSE, MBOT, or MURA. Joseph.
Good look there. Yes, sorry, your name, Alan San Sebastian. If I pronounced that wrong, I apologize. But yeah, guys, so they asked me to look at Apple's options chain for them. Ooh. So what I'm seeing right now at 200, we have 33,000 open contracts on the put side. So you can see the low day was around 198.87, roughly around those neck of the woods. So that's coming in as support. And then we have at 202.50 and 205, we have 10,000 open contracts and 16,000 open contracts. But at 200, we have 22,000. So there is a slight imbalance on the call side. So just pay attention to that. You can see that we have a lot of overhead resistance, and same with the likes in Nvidia as well too. So we need those orders to be lifted in order to break through them. But you're on this week's expiration cycle, and don't forget, it's a shortened week. So Thursday, that's it. The market is not open on Fridays. So always buy more time. You got the monies. You bought those 205s. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but it's never a good thing when time is working against you. And that's why I always emphasize on just buy as much time as possible there, guys. Okay, now what was I going to do? Oh, yeah, I like BIC right now, guys. BIC is looking pretty good. We're starting to form a wedge. And they reported earnings this morning as well, too. So let's see what's going on. Price starting to compress. Are we going to break it out to the top side? You can see that we're forming these consistent higher lows. And then now we have this form of resistance right at that 38.30 level, we'll call it. Let's see if we can break through that volume steps in, or we just decide to break it to the downside and that pattern fails. They've been coming into play pretty good this week. the past little while. So we'll keep an eye out on these. Let's see if we can get a breakout in BAC. I like playing in-play stocks. It's easier to trade, in my opinion, when there's a strong level catalyst, all right? So we're going to keep our eyes on that. If the volume steps in, we're going to take that trade. We're still sitting in this grind here in NVDA, guys. We like this one. And in IBIT as well, too. Slow grind, starting really, really small, wider stops, and just adding as the trade starts to work for us. So let's go. We're going to continue to hold on to these until otherwise. But I have this bullish feeling. I was telling Sharif, it feels like, I don't know, when you guys get that stomach feeling, I'm like, okay, it's a buy. I got to buy some things. And yesterday I was just doing some TA when I finally got to take a breather. And I'm like, you know what? I like Nvidia at 110, and I like Bitcoin around these neck of the woods as well. So I started to slowly grab into these. Maybe grabbed a little bit too many this morning, but that's okay. We're gonna hold on to them because I do believe in the short term we might get a rebound. And NVDA is still down 30%, and Bitcoin is still down about 35% from those all-time highs. So I'm looking for a rebound here, Sharif.
Oh yeah, man. Bitcoin has been kind of running a little secular lately anyway. I mean, I don't feel like it's been part of the overall market. We'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds here. Joseph, all right, I'm in MURA. There's a seller of note here at 80s, okay? I've been watching this one for a little while, going on 5 minutes now, and every time we work up into that $2.80 area, we are met with aggressive selling, just like we did right there. So watch this now, boom, okay, now we're taking out levels. Someone just got squeezed, boy. Boom! All right, we'll make up for that DWTX nonsense. We'll take this one long. We're doing it live, baby. We just took 20 freaking pennies just like that. Let's go ahead now and set up on the north side of 3. Let's see, we did get a spike above 3. Technically, the high of the day on MURA is $3.10. But in the same fashion that we just saw that seller at 280 is what I've been seeing at 3. Every time we work near and around 3, there's all this aggressive selling. So we'll have to wait and see if we can take them out. I've got a couple of dip trades set up there too. You'll be able to see that on your screen there. Those baby blue, white, horizontal. Sorry, baby blue, white. Get it together, Sharif. Those baby blue horizontal lines are dip trades. Those are buy orders. So if the price action is to come a little bit down, I'd like to be able to get filled. Here we go again with $3 as we zig and zag in the mid-90s. Do we have enough oomph to get us up there? It's only one way to find out, and that is to pack her patience. But Adara LePage at the big desk has news.
I might have another small cap for you, Sharif, but it's been really volatile thus far, and it is also below its intraday high. That is STBX, Sharif. It's called Starbucks Group Holdings. Also, not just Sharif, to anybody here. Starbucks Group Holdings, I'm seeing pop up here with volatility. Like I said, pretty choppy here, trading for this one, about a 7 million share float for STBX. Now back to the Bash Brothers.
Is that an IPO, Adara?
No, there's some other trading.
Because it won't load up on my up in this, you know what. So usually that happens when it's an IPO. Let's load it up on a different screen. DWTX lost a bit, so let's load up STBX. And thank you, Adara, for that. Yeah, it's loading up on here, but not loading up on my home chart. Let's go to the daily on this bad boy. Show yourself. Yeah, this is definitely an IPO. No, that's definitely not an IPO. What the hell is going on over here? Why isn't it loading up on my thing? All right, bizarre. All right, we'll have to deal with that in a bit, but I'm going to load up, sorry, just give me a second here to focus on this trade. Here we go, 3 again. So aggressive selling at 3. We were just at 3 again here on MURA, and it rejects again. So I've got my sell order at 305. So by definition, it's going to have to clear 3 by at least 5 pennies. I still am interested on MURA into adding into the volume weighted average price. Ideally, I'd like to pick up some at the 10 exponential so it doesn't lose the 10 exponential, but that's not really up to me. If it does dip into VWAP, I will be defending. Ideally, though, this one clears 3 and helps me take it the print at 305, so we're in a bit of a better position. But if history is any guide, this one will have trouble clearing 3. So I saw a whole bunch of tags. Nick W, mind checking out my super chat. I didn't see it, Nick. Where's it at, man? I see a bunch from Lulu455, €1. Thank you, Lulu455. There it is, Nick W. Sharif, thoughts on PHIO? Say less, Nick. We're going to load that bad boy up on the single chart over here. PHIO is what Nick wants to know about. Let's have a look. Ooh, this is a good looking chart, man. It's a good looking chart, Nick. So let's give the people more information. It's up 25.5%. It's a $13 million market cap, 13 and a fifth, I should say. The amount of shares traded on the day today, kind of light, Nick, about 1.44 million. Not really a big volume day for it, but doesn't have to be that way. Let's talk about some more details on this company. What the hell do they do? Pharmaceutical, clinical stage biotech company, self-delivering RNAi technology designed to make immune cells more effective in killing tumor cells. I love the headline. I love it. What's the technicals on it, though? Let's talk a little bit about that. So the float. I'm seeing sub 1 million. I'm seeing 507,000. So right away when I see that, I double check it. PHIO, I'm seeing 1 million on Trade Ideas. I'm seeing 500,000 on my platform. That already has me suspicious. So let's go and look on the daily and see if there was a reverse split. The answer to that is yes. But this one was quite some time ago. I would say July of 2024. So that really shouldn't be the reason there was a discrepancy in the float. In any event, the short float on this, Nick, 1.86%. If you're asking me if the trend is sound, it is absolutely sound, Nick. And, you have defending here either at VWAP or the 10 exponential. On this pullback here on PHIO, you've got a bit of a deeper retracement, a 5-candle retracement, red retracement into VWAP, held up, ended up taking it, no problem. Give me those shares. Takes out, that 260 area, and now we're knocking the door of that 285 with the high of the day, 283. Nick, I like it. Pick it up off key areas of technical support.
Yes, sir. Let's go here. We're just slowly adding into these positions here, Sharif. Up about 1.25 here on NVDA. We're trying to get the ball rolling, but it's just that overhead resistance, and sometimes you don't want to fight what the chain is telling you. And through 111 all the way to 114, there's some heavy resistance, guys, for this expiration cycle. So the thing is, it's like, okay, are those going to be lifted? And can we squeeze through? And if we happen to punch through some of these key levels, then you're going to be sitting in a good position. It's more of a slower grind. You can see we absorbed some liquidity, and then now we're just grinding. So you can see the cleaner, more orderly type price action when we flush to the downside. But then we just grind all the way back up. I'm looking for us to break through some of these key levels. I mean, they can be out of the money for some duration of time. So I'm going to monitor them really, really closely just to see what's happening. Is the open interest dwindling or is it increasing? And I think that's going to tell us a lot from an options change perspective. So you can see I was trading it earlier today. Three adds here, and then we get stopped out. And it's the same narrative right now. I want to add, they grab that liquidity. We're now adding to this position. It's working out really well. We want to kind of accumulate as much as we can to get as high as we can. We'll talk more about this when we get back from Madeira.
The comment there about whether or not STBX was an IPO reminded me we actually do have some IPOs that are slated to come out over the next few days, including HXH. This is Haushin Industries or Haushin Holdings, I believe. They're expected to IPO today. I posted some details about this on X at TTV Research, but we also have this infographic posted on X yesterday, just kind of a who's who, if you will. Some of these recent IPOs, their tickers, how they debuted, some of the pricing details. You can check this out at X at TTV Research. Link to that post are some details on HXH, which we are expecting to debut via IPO today. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adira. So yeah, guys, you can see that we're slowly starting to climb higher here, grind higher here in NVDA. The high of the day being around 112.80. A nice pullback. The one thing to note is that I was going to put my stop at the low of the day because if it broke through, then it's like, okay, maybe we're going to establish a new low. That hasn't been the case. Slightly tighter, but that's okay. As I increase the risk, you have to kind of trail that stop all the way up. But here we go. It's really starting to work out now. The volume is going to start to step in. And I feel like, as you can see on the 1 minute time frame, stair stepping higher and higher. And at some point, if buyers really step in, then we can get that squeeze like price action. And I'm really targeting about 114 here on the day, Sharif.
All right, hold on a second.
Yeah,
I'm just
no problem.
throwing in some orders.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what you guys are up to. So Dave Chittum, let's see. Buying time also increases risk. I bought an out the money meta put on Friday, and it's $3K down while being $10 in the money, vol drop, etc. Very valid point, right? So there you go. You bought an out the money meta put on Friday, and it's $3K down while being $10 in the money. So, but that's the thing, right? You bought that put in heightened volatility. So that essentially has nothing to do with theta. You got to look at your implied volatility and look what the VIX is. You're going to be paying an increased premium there.
All right, we're trying our hand here on STBX. I'm giving it to prior bar low, which means a break of 60 pennies. I get stopped out. I'll go stopped out already. So quick as you like that. We just lost 15 pennies on STBX. Probably a bit of a tight stop there, but I was a little concerned. I got to tell you the truth, just because of the two topping tails, both through 4. And I don't have a good read on this one because I can't load it up on my side chart, so I can't really see where the technical areas of support are on the moving averages because I don't have them on here. So I'm either going to steer clear of this one because I can't load it up on the side charts, or we're going to catch it on a breakout. Now, MURA, I'm looking at, I moved up my beak wetter. So I had it at 305. I don't think that that's the right area to put the last profit taker, because that's my last profit taker here on Mira Murati. No, I'm kidding. So we're looking at that 310 area. Thank you, Dare. We're looking at that 310, 311 area for that next little beak wetter, but I'm still looking at defending this one into the 10 exponential. I'll defend it even deeper, okay? Because MURA has a really good look about it today. It's up 184%. So, I mean, to me, it's the #1 gapper in the market. In fact, it is ahead of OST. Oh my God, what is happening here with OST? So I didn't even have eyes on this. Okay, so OST is doing things as well. So we're gonna have to take some old ones out here, put OST, because I'm finding all these new ones. So it's really MURA and OST. Those are the best, those are the strongest small cap gappers right now on the market. So let's put OST. I don't know if STBX is up more because it's not showing up on my scanner. That's what had me thinking it was an IPO, even though it's not. So this is the OST one. OST did run quite aggressively into that $2 area, made a new high, dropped, lost VWAP. Probably why I didn't have this one on, because at 11 o'clock it was below VWAP, so I didn't want anything to do with it. So this is gonna, look, this is not one of those times where I say, oh, it's got to take out that 213 for me to get interested. That 213 printed during regular market hours at 10:25. Okay, but that point remains in the sense that there are bag holders. What the hell is the difference between bag holders in the pre-market and bag holders during regular market hours? Not much. They're still bag holders. So I'm still concerned about this area high here, and especially the vigor with which this one dropped from that high day 213, literally dropping $1 in about 15 minutes to about 113 where it found support. So it literally dropped $1 from top to bottom, and now it's at that $1.80, $1.75. So we'll keep tabs on that. You okay? What's going on? Did we have a market move?
No, I was like, okay, I'm like, why is that so small? But then there's no decimal place on that. 115 strike price, 150,000 open contracts.
On what, bro?
On NVDA.
Oh.
That is crazy.
Can give us some context.
Okay,
so what typically is at something like that? What would be normal? I see that 149.9.
Yeah, so you can see you can see kind of the average, about 20, 30K. We'll call that an average.
Fair.
So we're about 5 times over the average at this point.
That's intense.
That's
so
a
what
lot.
price is that? Remind everybody
115.
again.
That's 115. 115 strike price.
So where are we at right now?
150,000. We are at 112.36.
So what would we call that? We call that a put wall?
We would call that a call wall. That is a high level of resistance.
Okay, got it.
High level of resistance. Because Los Pollos was asking me on the chat, and I kind of like just disregarded that because you can see the decimal places here, Sharif, and all of the open interest. But then I just didn't look at that because it looked like a smaller number, but it's actually 150,000 open contracts at 115. So times that by 100. It's a lot of shares.
Dude, that's intense.
That's a lot.
Right,
so no wonder that's why the stock is grinding like this.
Okay.
Right? You got to follow the path of least resistance. There's more resistance to the top side, and that's why you see this slow burn. I do believe that NVDA can climb higher, but we have a lot of overhead. Don't forget, when you have, say if someone is long 115, then it's either the market makers or another participant is on the opposite side of that trade. So what does that tell you? That you have 150,000 open contracts that are also short at 115. So who's going to win this battle? It's a matter of time, but that's why you get these slower grinds, Sharif, when there's just a high, like stacked amount through, and I was telling Los Pollos, through 113 all the way to 116. Now that I see that there's over 200, about 270,000 contracts between that space, between 112 and 116, that's a lot of liquidity that needs to be absorbed.
Understood. Understood. That's a great explanation. Thank you for that, Joseph, because it was that was an explanation for me as well, because, I'm not much in the way of options there. All right, guys, continuing to watch here, OST, small starter position as we start into that $2 area, looking at averaging into that $1.70 area. We'll see. Let's throw out those orders. So we'll go ahead and wait over here, and then we're going to go ahead and just wait just like that. So we'll set up those orders as well. I have no idea what just happened there. Just allow me a minute. There we go. So that's what I was trying to do. I did it incorrectly. So set it up just like that. And now we are good to go on that. So now there's a selling at 193, 19, boom, here to the high side. Let's put an order above that $2 area if we can squeeze above 2. This one's showing its intentions to possibly take out those highs a day, that previous high day at around 213. I'm talking about OST. I still have orders to defend this one in the same way that I have orders out on MURA. So we'll see exactly what we get there, and we will not get upset. So we're going to put in a 199 order as well to see if we can get wet the beak there. I'm still interested in adding out 182 and 172 to defend the volume weighted average price. MURA continues to have a whole lot of trouble with $3 despite the fact that it's not dropping either. So I think my order at the 10 exponential is no longer accurate. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out because the 10 exponential is a dynamic level, and it waits for no man or woman, and it will just continue on its merry way up. It moves up with the price action. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joseph. We're in a couple of names, OST and MURA, looking for a 3 break on MURA and looking for a 2 break on OST.
Good look there. Yeah, guys, what I'm starting to notice in the chat too, and I really enjoy this, is that everybody's starting to look at the chain and the open interest and how important and how you can use these levels to bounce off of. See, Yucky Buckley says 130 has 190,000 open contracts. That is quite insane, but you can tell that we're 15 points away from that. So if you're short that, then the chances are if it's on this week's expiration cycle, then those are going to just expire worthless. They're probably not worth anything right now. If I were to, I'll take a look to tell you exactly what 130 is offering. And I guaranteed it's not going to cost you very much. Yeah, see, so there you go, $3, right? So again, what are you going to do with those? You couldn't even sell those because the commissions would just cost you significantly more. But I like that you guys are looking at this stuff and using this in your trading, because it's really changed mine and gives you a different outlook in the market. I was telling Sharif that the options chain is essentially a book map minus the heat aspect, because it just gives you the ability to go up and down the order book to see what is the options market telling you, what levels are of high interest, and that's why we look at open interest from a day-to-day basis. But you can see it's more of a slow grind here in NVDA through this 112. We can most definitely squeeze, but we're going to need some participants to step in. We're going to need a really positive headline, and then you can get that panic mode, and then you can get that squeeze-like type price action there. I want to take a look at IBIT as well too here, guys, to see what the crypto market, I guess, is telling us. And at 50 for this week's expiration cycle, we have 50,000 open contracts. All right, so you can see we're hovering around 48. What was our high a day here on IBIT? That was exactly 49.18, and then we rejected. Okay, so again, not a coincidence. Last week we had an Apple short. Where was the highest levels of open interest? At 200. We short 199.13, and then you get that little bit of a move down. All right, so just look for them. Wait for that and it's weird because I say the magnet effect. But what happens is it draws the underlying asset to these strikes, and then there's not a large enough participant to absorb the liquidity in order for us to break through those key levels, and that's when you get those rejections, right? So people are attracted to those levels, and then if you don't have a participant or participants large enough to break through it, then that's when you can get the rejection of those key levels.
All right, guys, very happy with how this MURA traded. We took it out at 7, so full disclosure, I moved down my sell order from 11s to 7. And the reason I did that is because, as you can see, we're having a whole lot of trouble taking 3. So there's a very convicted short seller right now, or profit taker, whatever, I don't really care, but someone has a whole lot of conviction with this $3 area because they're keeping it down. And so we took it out at $3.07. I'm happy with this trade, but it could certainly have gone better. My main mistake on MURA was not picking more up, that is, off the 10 exponential moving average. I insisted on using these round number levels like 275 to 250. That was not the move. The move here was to look at what the price action was respecting, and in my humble submission, the respect went to the 10 exponential moving average. So somebody in the chat over here, great question, goes like this. Lewis Budd wants to know, where's it at, man? Where's that thing at? Lewis Budd, would love to get your insight. I think it's a little bit above. Mate, what do you mean by 10 exponential? Thank you for asking that, because probably a lot of people have that same question as well. Let me just watch how OST is trading over here, because we just got filled to the downside. So what do we got now? We got 87s. Okay, I'll answer you that question in a second, but I just have to manage this trade. So I'm going to throw out some orders over here. So the 10 exponential moving average is exactly what, well, the 10 moving average. Let's call that the 10 moving average. What is that? So essentially, you take several periods, right? So if I'm looking at the 5-minute, it will be 10 5-minute candles, and it will average those 10 5-minute candles for me and give me an average price. There's two types of moving averages, though. There's simple one that we just explained. You take 14 periods, you take 10 periods, you take whatever amount of periods that you're talking about, 20, 50, 200, all the different types of moving average, and then you just add them together and divide by the amount, right? That gives you the simple moving average. So that would be plotted on a dot on the chart, and then the computer automatically connects those dots vis-a-vis a line. And that's what you see there on my charts. Okay, so OST is breaking down here below the volume weighted average price. So I have to give this to 155. If it breaks 155, we're gonzino. So let's go ahead and just go like that. Okay? Now, the difference between the simple moving average and the exponential moving average is, well, the formula changes just a little bit. It starts to weight the periods that took place more recently heavier than the periods that took place more distantly. So, for example, let's count how many bars we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's start from here. Okay, so let's move the price action to this. So the 10 exponential moving average would more heavily weight this candle, this candle, this candle than it would these candles over here. Now you're going to ask me, well, what's the purpose of that? Well, when we're intraday trading as opposed to investing, we want to weight the more recent price action heavier than we'd want to weight the more distant price action. The reason is because obviously there is something to the more recent price action since we're trading intraday and not just investing. So the idea here is to use that as an area of support, and that's kind of what I use the moving averages for. Okay, I hope that helps. If it doesn't, you just tag me again. Let me know if you need a better explanation, Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff there, guys. All right, so yeah, let's see what we got going on here. And Joe Blow in the chat, I mean, they're just asking, right? You got to start somewhere. So I think that's a great question, because if you don't know, it's always best to ask. And like Sharif said, he's answering a question, and he asked the question that a lot of people are probably thinking the exact same thing. So again, just stay positive, and he's new, right? If he doesn't know what it is, then you got to start somewhere, and that's my opinion. Let's see what we got going on here with NVDA, guys. Continuing to slowly grind higher. IBIT not working out too well for us. We got a nice little pop, but then just giving back a lot of what we gained here, and looking like it wants to head towards these lows. So we'll get out of this trade if it cracks through the low a day. That would just give us a nice curl over. You can see how disorderly this price action is. The selling pressure is a lot more orderly and I guess more clean PA, right? The prints are a lot more clean and defined, opposed to when we're just grinding back higher. It's a slow grind and a lot of indecision prints on the way up. So if we we crack 48.20, then we'll have to get out of this trade, and it doesn't look like Bitcoin's going to be a long just yet. I could be wrong, but what I was referring to is from a daily standpoint, you can see that we opened up on the top of the range. The thing is that we gapped up, and then now we're starting to fill this gap. Again, Bitcoin usually doesn't have these because it's 24/7, but if we're looking at this from an IBIT perspective, and now how heavily influential the market is on this now, because it has institutional participants, right, with via options, which I think brought a lot to this game, and it reduced a lot of the volatility in Bitcoin just because of the ability to hedge, etc. And here you can see that we're starting to fill this gap and move back towards the downside. I'm still bullish on this thing. We were talking about it earlier. I do believe we're on the backside of this primary downtrend. We just need something positive, any form of positive news catalyst. I do believe that we can continue start to climb significantly higher here, guys, in Bitcoin. So we'll watch out that 48.20. We're going to get out of Dodge on that trade. Let's see what Tesla's up to. I know a lot of people were looking at it. Some people said, Joe, TSLA hovering around the volume weighted average price, which is nice. Here we go, 254 and change here, closer to 255 in Tesla. Still positive on the day, up about 1.1%. But you can see from a daily standpoint, we're just chilling in this range. And I'm looking for that 3-bar type play for us to at least close at the top of the range or above it. And then tomorrow you can get that open and then kind of get out of this engulfing candles range. And I think this is what's really hindering some of the price action here, guys, is that we just had such a massive engulfing day last week that it's hard to get out of this range here, Sharif.
All right, JCB Sports, I'd be picking up MURA off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 because that's where the respect has been, and it's been a rinse and repeat type trade. So we took it out at 07s. It continued climbing, baby, into 321. You can never have the top, or maybe you can. You can never have the bottom either, or maybe you can. This one, as you can see, look at this. I mean, you don't need to be, a super genius or anything to see that it keeps finding support, price action support off that green line, right? That's not wizardry. It's not anything special. It's just about, noticing things. And anyway, so this one finding another area of support right at that 290. Lo and behold, that is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. It doesn't mean, though, that it hasn't had a lot of trouble taking out 3. And that's kind of what I'm going to get into now. So we'll get in again on this one at the highs, obviously, or near the highs. And I'll look to defend into that 10 exponential. If it ends up losing the 10, then I get stopped out. No big deal. So the 10 exponential right now is at 90. So let's go ahead and put another order at 90. I'll run it at 91. And the deal is it passes 87 and I'm out. Simple as that. Okay. We already made money on it. We don't have to give back anything on this one. So we're involved back again on MURA at essentially 298 technically, and I'll be looking at wetting the beak in and around 310. 321 is the high. It's got good strength in and around there, but again, as I mentioned, it's had a lot of trouble with 3. Now, it's not going to go up forever. And the fact that it had trouble with 3 keeps me concerned that, shorts are going to notice that, they're going to take advantage of that, and they're going to basically look to aggressively short at any pops through 3. And I'll submit to you that's what's been happening so far. However, the other side of that equation is the buyers, although they can't really push it above 3 for any prolonged period of time, have been buying it up at more aggressive levels. That is very indicated. That's very clearly indicated by the higher low situation on MURA. So let's see exactly what we get here. We have another seller coming in aggressively at 3 on MURA. It's up 190%, but it really is having trouble holding above that $3 level. So let's go ahead and wet the beak here, and then we'll look for a breakthrough 10 again. Here we go, showing me 5s. Can we get 10s, please? And thank you. Let's keep an eye out on that one. MURA, good look. This one, not such a good look. OST, gonna get stopped out, likely on the break of that $0.50. This one is continuing to put lower highs and lower lows. I'm disappointed in myself, full disclosure, for trading this one in this fashion because I insisted on making it go above that $2.13 area because I was worried about the fact that there would be bag holders from that area. I was right. I didn't listen to my own advice, and now I'm 1 for 2 on the day, having done well on MURA, having done poorly on DWTX, and equally as poorly on OST. I'll look to do a little bit better. Adair, what do you got?
I have a bit of a story on GameStop. I say a bit of a story because some of this is actually already known to us, but basically Bloomberg reporting that these, share purchases, investments that Ryan Cohen, CEO, has been making in the company have to do with his goal to secure a margin loan. So a margin loan basically is a loan from your brokerage firm, which allows you to borrow money to invest or for other purposes. So again, this GME stake increase here by CEO Ryan Cohen reportedly for a margin loan, according to Bloomberg. We already knew previously just through SEC filings that Ryan Cohen has been increasing his stake in the company. He has, I believe, as of the most recent filing, about 8% stake. But either way, GME on watch here with this report, not moving too much, though, on this. Back to you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's 111, I think, for this week's expiration cycle. Okay, yeah, very interesting, Ron Johnson. I appreciate that. So 112, roughly. I think there's a little bit more open interest. There's 140,000 that I mentioned at 115, so maybe roughly around there. But yeah, I get the gist of what you're saying. And Charlie Tapp, my guy. So sorry, I apologize that I missed your question earlier in the day. I pulled it up and then obviously my mind got swayed. But okay, 250. We have 23, closer to 24,000 open contracts on the put side, so possible support there on Tesla. What was our low a day here, guys, on this name? Approximately 253, I think. Oh, no, hold on. Way lower than that. Let me pull up the 5-minute time frame. It's significantly easier. 249.79. All right, so there you go, 249.57, we'll call it. Was those pre-market lows, held those levels really well, I should say. 23,000, closer to 24 at 250 on the put side, that is, so coming in as support. And then there's nothing outstanding up until 265, where we have about 30,000 open contracts there, Mr. Charlie Tapp. So hopefully that helps you out, and maybe we can get the ball rolling here. Nice recovery here on NVDA as well, too, guys. I decided to get out of IBIT just due to the price action. I was referring to it on the 5-minute time frame. Look at the strength within the selling pressure, and then look at the weakness displayed within these buying candles, right? So it was just a really slow grind higher, but then as soon as the sellers step back in, these candles become significantly more healthy, and as we continue to move to the downside. Sorry, that is, and then, but we're still sitting in this NVDA. We did dump. We held VWAP relatively well here, Sharif, and now starting to climb higher again. Now at 112.21, going to test that high day. It seems that we can't break through it just yet. If the Qs start participating and some of these bigger names do, then I think we might be able to break through some of these key resistances.
All right, man. Good look there. Man, you know what I wish? I wish there was a technique or like a tool on the trading platform where I can just say to the order, shadow the 10 EMA, shadow VWAP. That would be insane, right, Adara? And the reason I say that is because, again, I always say this, they're dynamic levels. They're constantly changing. And my system is I like to trade off them. So, for example, case in point, MURA, I put a dip trade at where the 10 EMA was. Lo and behold, it dropped down there into that area. I didn't get filled because the EMA had moved, right? And now we're printing up multiple storm here on OST. So the revenge, revenga. Remember that part in Scarface where he's like, guys like, revenga.
No.
You know that underpass where they have all the migrants coming from Cuba? Because it was like they
and then storm the
and then they send Al Pacino to kill that guy that tortured one of Castro's, I guess, brothers or sisters or something like that. Anyway, I'm sorry. And then the guy's like, revenga, right? I was like, yes.
Unfortunately, I didn't get that one, so I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's probably because I didn't do it good enough. I can do it again.
You can try one.
I'm just joking. All right, baby, we're doing it live, like we literally are, right? So here we go. OST, multiple prints. I took like 3 times the size of the size I usually take because I was looking for revenga, and I got it. So I'm kind of happy with this. Now, I'm going to explain my trade here on OST in a second. This is obviously one of those cases where the respect is being shown to the 20 exponential moving average on the 5, not a level I typically use, but one that's showing up today. Here's my case in point, okay? So the dip down, look at that yellow line. Hold, 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle, 4 candle, 5 candle. Do you need more proof? All right, and then comes down again, 1 candle, 2 candle. So whatever algo is trading this is clearly using the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. I don't care why, all right? I just want to make money. So here we go. We took it long. We're doing it live. And then we took out multiple prints to the high side. I'm very happy with how I was able to execute on this. I'm looking to do it a little bit better. So we still have multiple more outs. So if this one wants to run and take out the volume weighted average price, I'd be pleased as punch, as Adara likes to say. So let's go and throw out some more orders there on OST. Anything below my price, 153, I'm out. I'm not going to give back anything on this trade, okay? Simple as that. That's what we're looking at on OST right now. I appreciate you, Joseph. Now, here's the deal. We're still involved in Mira Murati. I'm talking about MURA. I'm kidding, of course. It just reminds me of Mira Murati. I don't know why, but I'm looking at taking it at 310s. Sadly, though, I did not get the dip trade at 290. So
Roy
now
Pacino.
What's that?
Roy Pacino said, come on, bro. Step your gangster movie game up. Come on, man. I gave you guys Belly.
Yeah. Well, Belly is a good movie too, Joseph, so I got to give you that. But no, but seriously, like, you can't compare Belly to Scarface, right? You're not doing that. You're not doing that, right, Joseph?
No way, but I'm saying, if you want to, like, come on, step the game up, like, I just gave you Belly, no?
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I think your gangster game is good.
And the Warriors, the Warriors.
Oh. What's going on there? I heard play it. I'm just taking out my old stop here on OST. We moved up the stop now to break even. Simple as that. No, but seriously though, that's one of my favorite, I think, gangster movies. Needless to say, the all-time favorite goes to The Godfather. I'm going to have to say it's going to be Godfather 1 and 2. I'm going to have to put a bit of a caveat there on 3 because I think Andy Garcia is a very talented actor. I just don't think the storyline was the best it could have been, but it's still part of the series, so I still give it mad respect. But it's 1 and 2 that are my favorite. Then going down the list, it's going to be Scarface. Fundamentally different movies, though, by the way. Like, just think about the directing there. One was like more street level. The other one was more, like high level kind of mafioso type. What do they call? What's mafia called in Italian again? Cosa Nostra. Cosa Nostra. Thank you. So yeah, that's just, it goes without saying. That's my favorite movie, and it reminds me of my old man. Like, my old man and I would have like marathons watching The Godfather. We didn't watch the Scarface together, so that was just with my degenerate friends. We would watch that in high school illegally, of course. Joseph.
Yes, good luck there. Yeah, Tony, Corey, yeah, thanks, brother. Much appreciated. Thank you for taking the time off of work and sitting here and joining us, learning as much as you possibly can. That's some good stuff. But yeah, guys, let's see what we got going on. I mean, we can't break through this. Pardon me?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, no. We can't break through this high day here on NVDA. So you can see we were adding aggressively, but then when the thesis is just starting to work out, we're adding to it, but you can see that I almost took $1 here from that point with that inability to crack through. So it's just like, come on, which way are we going to go? Bitcoin now tanking, so that's not too good of a look. Probably heading south of 85,000 right now on Bitcoin. So yeah, there it is. Let's go NVDA. Vamos, as my guy Las Polios would say in Oscarito. But yeah, here we go, guys. Let's take a look at the TQs as well to see what we got going on. Strong opening drive. See, that's the thing. So this was my idea. It's like, okay, we had a nice, strong 5-minute opening drive. The first half hour of the session relatively strong. So why not look for the continuation in strength? And unfortunately, we're not getting it to the extent that I was looking for here, guys, right? So and it happens like that, exactly. But what we can point out is, look at this pivot. We essentially don't look back from it on the pre-market, and we're still holding this trend. So until that breaks and we end up on the backside of it, I'm going to stick with this bullish thesis for right now. And especially if NVIDIA gets the ball rolling and Apple decides that it wants to start climbing as well, then I think it's going to drag this. What do you got going on there, Shu?
Nothing. You just said Apple. I get excited. You know how it is.
You know how it is, man. All right, but again, Apple holding up relatively well. We like it right now. It's now trading at 202.39. Sorry, I didn't get that there.
Yeah, we're going to go to there.
Okay. Yeah, breaking news here on Adara. TQQs taking that leg lower, guys.
Get it, Adara.
This news is not about the market in general, but it is yet another update in the ongoing saga of potential OpenAI products. The Verge reporting that OpenAI, of course, majorly invested in by Microsoft. We have the MSFT chart here. Microsoft or OpenAI reportedly building an X-like social network. So The Verge reporting that not only is OpenAI trying to get into the search space, they're trying to have this $20,000 doctorate level AI subscription. They are also reportedly looking to get into the social network or Twitter/X space, as reported by The Verge. Keep an eye here on MSFT, which of course has invested very heavily into OpenAI. Back to you.
There too, and Day Trader Cut says OpenAI is building an X-like social media network. Yeah, very good look on that front. I think that's just even that gives Meta a stronger case, right? They got True Social, Snapchat, and all these other things. So there you go. Not so much of a monopoly in the social media aspect.
Well said, Joseph.
And what I was saying to Sharif, and this is just my opinion, is that okay, you have an AI arms race going on right against China. You're now fighting a tariff war. Why do you want to weaken your strongest companies with this antitrust lawsuit that they got going on in Google and now in the likes of Meta? You're essentially just shooting yourself in the foot. I don't agree with it, especially in these times. You want your best players to be your best players.
Joseph, I gotta agree with you 100% on that. You and I were talking about all this off camera, but I gotta tell you, the same thing they said to Xi Jinping. Remember the crackdown? Jack Ma. Where the hell is Jack Ma? No one knows where Jack Ma is, right? No. He cracked down on the tech companies in his country in the early part of the 2020s. Here's my theory, and this is just a theory, but I'm gonna spitball it anyway. I think Xi saw what they did to the Orange Man in the way that they were able to black him out after Jan 6. He lost his Instagram account, he lost Facebook, he lost YouTube, he lost everything. So Xi got a glimpse of that. And he's like, damn, those American tech companies can blacklist the president. They can basically take him off and he doesn't have a voice anymore. And they can stop covering him on TV. I don't want none of that. And so he went and cracked down on his own tech companies, much to their chagrin and much to the benefit of American tech companies. So then you see the Americans want to crack down on their own tech companies only to prop up the Chinese. It's always that double-edged sword. You need to get your house in order, but at the expense, or not at the expense, but much to the advantage of your competitor.
Exactly.
And so it's always been that kind of a situation where they don't know what the hell to do. Joseph, we're printing up multiple storms here. Oh my God, on OST. Bang to the high side. Give me that print, please. Thank you. There we go. Right in, man. We took this at $1.53. We're breaking through 2. We're doing it freaking live. Here it goes. It's taking out 210, Katina, man. Hold on. I'm trying to print over here, bro. There it is. I'm buying brisket, with like my one share, bro. All right, so here we go. I'm playing. We're gonna take it out now at the high of the day if we can. 213 HOD on OST. Very happy with this trade. It started off bad, but we're doing it live, and hopefully we'll make some money here, Joseph.
Yes, good luck there, guys. So again, gonna be a grind here. Short some Bitcoin as well too, but it's going to be a grind here. Oh, let's go, Sharif.
Let's
go, Nvidia. We're starting to break out here, guys. If that volume really, I think this was. If anybody else sees this print, please let me know. That'll be much appreciated.
What is that? Let me look at
it's like a volume print here on NVDA. Let's go here. If it breaks, then we gotta add aggressively here, guys. If it continues to break with this momentum, let me get out of this IBIT short. But that's okay. We're gonna get the ball rolling here on NVDA. If this continues, I'm gonna try to double up the risk. But I need that volume really to support us as we start to crack through some of these key resistance levels. So I got my finger on the trigger here, guys, ready to double it up. We're in it now. Dude, hey, we're going for it. I said 114 today. Let's break through. Hopefully this isn't a fake out. You can see that I was continuously adding through this position. Let's go NVDA. These dark pools aren't doing this trade any justice. Continuing to climb higher. You see the
doesn't that feel the worst?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Like, yo, get that out of there, man. I'm trying to show how good this trade is.
Exactly. So there you go. That volume stepped in. We waited for it. Let's squeeze. Let's get into 114. We're going to diamond hands this position there, guys.
That's a great look there, Joseph. Shout out to you, my man. Good look, good trade. Kill it there and kill him with kindness, too, while you're doing it as well. So why not, right? You're doing it live, so everything's fine. All right, guys, we're back into MURA. We caught the dip trade. trade. We're long 81s. Let's see what this one does. It has 2 bottoming tail candles, both of which are defending, both the closing prints, defending that 20 exponential moving average on the 5. It was an aggressive loss of 3 there, okay? So it was a bit of a, it concerned me. I thought we were going to make it down to VWAP. I had an order at VWAP. It didn't look like it wanted to print VWAP. So here we go. There's a seller at 82s. Ironically enough, that's where I have one of my, that's not my order. I have it at 85s, but that 82 level, kind of a weird area to have a seller of note. That's multiple times now we've rejected off 82s, and you can see more size coming into the posted size, not even the hidden size. You can see it there on EXB. Here we go. We're back at 82s again. We're taking out the size there. Can we squeeze? We're taking out the size we can see, but it's not moving. There we go. Now we're taking out 83s, but there's a bunch of selling. Look at that at every level. Now we're being met with resistance. That is not what I want to see at all. Because I'm not going to be fighting these levels at every turn over here. So we just wicked up to 84s, but we're being met aggressively every time. We're selling here on MURA, so you kind of feel like maybe the shorts definitely want to start getting involved. So look to wet the beak there and see what we can do. So MURA is the one I'm involved in right now. We're all done our trade here on OST. I'm like a couple of pennies off the top wick there, so I'm kind of happy about that, but we'll look to do even more on this one. If this comes in to $1.60, I'm talking about OST, I'm getting long again. Reason is that $1.60 area is, again, the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. I don't know why this particular small cap gapper has decided that it wants to trade off the 20, but the fact of the matter is, it is, okay? So why the reason is, I don't care. Now, as I continue to watch this a bit more, I like the 20, but I'm also thinking that this one might resolve eventually into an aggressive flat top break through 2. Entertain me for a second, okay? So we have higher low, and then if we hold up again at the 20, it'll be yet another higher low. Well, what the hell does that mean? It means it's an ascending wedge. An ascending wedge typically is higher low, so you have that diagonal triangle or diagonal line on the way up with that flat line. Why am I showing you with my hands when I can show you with these tools?
I do that, yeah.
I don't know either, Joseph.
I do that
So
too.
let's go ahead and just do it live over here. So there you go. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. $2 resistance with that ascending wedge. Let's go make this a little bit thicker so people can see it a little bit better. There you go. So I'm looking to defend that $1.60, thinking maybe that if I hold a piece for the dream, it's not going to be 213 where we top out at. It'll be something maybe like 3. So we're going to keep an eye out on that and see exactly what happens there. And boom, to the high side again is MURA. So we'll continue to take that out. There he is. There's Scarface, but he's got Katina Man's head on it. We love it anyway. Shout out to the Katina Man and appreciate you, brother. So we're looking to basically do a little bit better here on MURA, looking for that 310 break. And simultaneously, we're going to go back here on OST, and we're going to throw an order. We're going to front run the level at 160, because sometimes it doesn't make it down there. So we're going to wait at 164, okay? That's what I'm doing. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Shout out to my main man, Adam DeLuce. The dude, he comes in 345 times. I love how he knows how many times he said good morning, good afternoon to people. He's got the count. We love you, Adam. Shout out to you, my man. Go Arsenal. Go Arsenal plays, by the way, tomorrow against Real Madrid in the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinals. Obviously, Madrid got their rear ends, handed to them last time. 3-0 ski. That was in London. Now we go to Madrid, okay? And we go to the Estadio Bernabeu, and it's an entirely different game at this point because they are the all-time leaders in wins, all-time leaders in trophies. Everything in Champions League is owned by Madrid, not Arsenal. So going there obviously is going to be quite nerve-wracking. We're also without our one of our main central defenders. I'm talking about Gabriel, who is injured with a hamstring. So we have our second guy, Kiwior, Jakob Kiwior, in his place. He plays alongside William Saliba. In my humble submission, he's the best central defender in the world, not you, Antonio Rudiger. It's going to be William Saliba, and he basically owned Kylian Mbappe in the last game, in the same way that Yurian Timber Owen Vinicius Jr. They locked him down. They couldn't do crap.
Lockdown.
So yeah, it was basically it was a beat down.
It's like COVID lockdown there, Shreve.
Yeah,
he locked him down,
COVID
just like
lockdown.
COVID. Yeah, just like COVID, he locked him down there. Okay,
Trump
so
is
someone,
speaking?
pardon me.
Is Trump speaking, Adara?
Not
Okay.
seeing anything. Okay, guys, someone in the chat said bull trap. Not going to disagree with you, not going to agree with you. All right? So here, this is what I'm thinking though, speaking out loud. What can we see? Large amount of volume. In which direction? To the top side. Can we classify this as a genuine move? As of right now, yes. So what do? We want to follow this volume. Are we going to break through the 112.80? We got to be patient, but one thing that I will note is that the volume, when we pull back, is starting to cool off. So what we need is participants to step in and make the aggressive sellers lifting that ask. And there we go. This is why you follow the volume, large volume signatures. You're seeing it live, and we're showing you here, guys. Can we break through this high? But essentially, what I'm adding into is this large volume, and that's what we mean when we say follow the volume. And can it fail? Absolutely. We just have to be patient and wait and see. So that's exactly what I'm playing off of, and that's why I decided to add. So I'm going to say that it may not be a false break just yet. I could be wrong, but the volume is supporting the thesis, and that's what we want to be able to follow. And there you go. You can see that heightened volume signature. If anybody else can see that on the chat, please confirm, because I'm not seeing it on P Pro, but I see it here on my other trading.
You're seeing that
here.
volume candle? Let me have a look.
Do you have that on NVDA?
No. What time? Number one
minute,
is that?
2 minute.
2 minute.
Time
Give me a
frame?
second.
Yeah.
How do you even have a 2 minute, bro? Like, what kind of wildness
I'm that
is
guy,
this?
man.
Yes,
I'm that
that
guy.
is.
Okay.
Yes.
So
You're
there we
talking
go.
about the 1152 candle,
Exactly.
right? Yes, I got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boom. And there we go, Sharif. We're now going back towards the high of day.
We're doing it live.
Follow the volume. I had this conversation with another trader before. Again, it could totally be a false break. I would have more conviction if it was a false break, if that volume wasn't there. But you can see we now tested the high of day. Let's see what Adara's up to.
Here is a very choppy S&P 500 for today's session. Pushes up, pushes to the downside, slightly bull flag looking, but really an inability as of this moment to break out for the index. NASDAQ looking pretty similar, though this one having a little bit more of a defined resistance area that we're currently trying to break out of. What are some other names on watch here? Netflix has been in basically bull flag for a lot of this session, holding on nicely to that 975 level, but as of right now, completely unable to eclipse 1,000. The closest we got was just below 992 this morning. We have not really come back to that area since. Tesla also strong today. HX is one of our new IPOs. I mentioned this earlier, Haushin Holdings. This one just debuted on the NASDAQ. Something to be aware of here is HX also. Caroline Leavitt here, White House press secretary, is set to hold a conference at 1 p.m. as she normally does on Tuesdays. That'll be about an hour from now. I will let you guys know when that occurs. I'll be following that conference for sure. Back to you. O'Neill.
Lesson of the day in here for everybody. And look, I took a shot at Bull, Webull that is, but I wanted to go over, and I'll show you what happened with it. But I want to start with Newsmax, because everything started for me with looking at Newsmax, so the most recent. It was you get a new IPO, squeeze a little bit. Webull was actually a SPAC, just to get it clear, but it's still the same concept. Not a lot of shares out there. Squeeze, big parabolic mover. Now, NMAX, its big, ridiculous day was the one where it tested 280, and everything started for me with analyzing like what happened in the afternoon that day. Like find the afternoon support. Like this is when it started really breaking out that hand move at about 170, and then observing that same price test at the open. Now here's where something was clear. It's like, oh, if it just fails that prior day support, turn that into resistance and go. This was a little bit, I want to say trappish, because think about how clean that is. For a stock that was completely parabolic, essentially just wicked the level, gave you one shot, never even broke that 170 on the retest. That's the key. Never broke that price on the retest, and then flushed. So I'm thinking the same thing with Bull. I'm looking at Webull. Let me just zoom it in here, and I'm looking at that straight upside afternoon support level at 55. Right, so what's the pattern that I'm looking for here? I wanted to retest after the open. I wanted to fail the high, that 55 support level. And then when it fails that, I want to jump into the short and then just be able to look away. Because in And in the case of Newsmax, it just worked right away. And so my thinking is, oh, I'll just let it work right away with a tight stop because that's the pattern I'm looking for. Well, that's a little bit too lazy thinking because the concept ended up being right. The difference was, well, why would you, when looking at a strategy or execution strategy, just assume it's going to give you the best case scenario and leave it at that? What? Because I know the concept I'm looking for had something to do with Newsmax, but it's not the first stock that's ever done it. But if you look at the idea of that 55 over under, when it actually ran the level and maybe trapped some people over there after the opening range, that's when it worked the best. And when looking at stocks like this or reversions, whatever they might be, generally speaking, like the wider, crazier up candle, when that gives you a short entry, tends to be better because it's trapping more people long. So this calm one, we're like, oh, we'll just take that break down and we'll stop it out that prior high. No, the actual entry here, and I should have taken it twice, I think is the obvious thing. When it does this big, big rejection wick, that's the same concept on steroids effectively. And it goes into a down halt and then trends down. So oftentimes there's more than one way that your level is going to work. But if you like it, you've got to be waiting for sometimes that extreme entry. Sometimes it'll be clean. Sometimes it's an obvious refresher, support and resistance. Other times they trap the long and then it comes back in. But you're staring down a level to fail. If it fails spectacularly into a down halt, it behooves you to have it. And it was my looking at Newsmax and how incredibly simple it was that day and thinking, oh, this does the same thing. It'll just be an easy shot play on bull. Either works or it doesn't. I can hold it all day long if it does. It shouldn't always be that simple. And sometimes you just got to go back to the well and that extreme entry or that second entry when it failed at 55. It was kind of exactly right in concept, but I just didn't give it that second chance when it did that big move down. And it could have been a trade after the halt as well. You could have just waited till after it halted down, then it's holding VWAP, and you get the same trend reversal. The key being the setup and idea was prior day afternoon support. That level failed, short it for the rest of the day. You can't have a thesis like that, stare it down and have it technically work and not be in it. So that's the lesson I learned. Just don't always assume it's going to be the easy, simplistic entry where you don't have to work for it. Sometimes you do have to work for it. And on bull, you did. Let's go back to Adara at the desk.
Just to be aware here, before I send you back to the Bash Brothers, Financial Times reporting that Jamie Dimon is apparently urging the U.S. to engage with China. Now, this is of note because we do know that Trump listens to Jamie Dimon. He had actually said when asked, why did you announce your 90-day tariff pause? He said, well, I heard Jamie Dimon talking this morning, doing a news interview. So we know this is someone that he does listen to. Certainly something to be aware of. According to Financial Times, Jamie Dimon basically encouraging and urging the U.S. to engage with China. We know that China is also by far the largest and most significant trade target here with regards to negotiations that the U.S. has. Scott Bessent made some comments to that effect yesterday during an interview, basically saying they know these tariffs are unusually large. They're not sustainable due to their size, but they do need to have those talks with China. Back to you.
That expression, third time's a charm?
Oh, buddy, have I ever heard that, Sharif?
Okay, so I feel like there's a story there. So before I go on with my story, I want to hear this.
I don't have any story, to be honest with
Okay,
you,
so
but
then why are you so amped up, bro?
I like third time's a charm.
Hey.
That's what it's for. But here we go. Pull up my chart here real quick. We're doing it live here, guys. You can see people in the chat saying, Joe might get his 114. We're going to hold off here. We took some off. I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see it here. But there's our, we took 33% off there, and then we only took 10% there because we want to lock that in. Enter. Add on the volume, follow the volume, and then you start taking it up when you run into some of those levels. Let's hear your story there, my guy.
No, I just want to appreciate the ads there.
I appreciate
That's aggressive adding, and I think that's something you're quite good at, and you keep doing it. The Katina Man is back short on Apple at that same level that he printed that 4-banger on this morning. We're going to talk about it right now. He's short at 203.25, which is kind of infuriating because he always gets these top wicks. And yeah, I got to tell you, I find it a little bit annoying, Katina Man, that you're always getting these top wicks. I don't know about that, but great short there on the Katina Man. He's $1 in the money. We're going to shout him out. Short on Apple at that same high of the day. We're talking about that 203.25. Shout out to the Katina Man. And keep your eye out in the chat. When the Katina Man's back, he does post his positions in the chat. So if you're following Sean's trades, if you're following Neil's trades, it behooves you to keep your eye on the chat, which is a perfect segue for to let you guys know that
the market moves like the waves, always rolling. So stay in the game. Like, subscribe.
Oh, it's not the same shirt. I was gonna
No, it's not the same shirt. I have a lot of blue polos, bro.
Man, yeah.
Can you tell blue's my favorite color now?
Well, dude, it's my favorite color too.
Yeah.
I can't wait till it's the summertime so I can start wearing like t-shirts and stuff like that. Because you guys notice I'm always in a long sleeve.
You know what,
but
Joseph?
The summer lineup is so hot. We're gonna be pulling out the suits and everything along those lines. That's just because.
Don't show up in a tie though. You saw what happened to Mitch today.
I see what happened.
See what happened to Mitch?
Channeling his inner Donald Trump, I feel like with the navy blue and the red tie there. But no, I won't be busting out.
I showed up one time here in a tie. One time. The Katina Man. Neil. Brendan.
Brando.
Together
Remy.
as a group. Almost
Baby.
bit my head off.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It was like, take off that tie immediately. You're not going on the air with a tie.
But you know what they say, Sharif? We came on there. Strength in numbers. If we both wear ties, then maybe. Strength in numbers. You know
I'm not taking on the big kahunas. You can take on the big kahunas on your own, bro.
That's a battle we don't really want to. We don't want to open that door, right? We don't want to get involved in that.
We're having. Uh-oh. He's coming in.
Who?
For 2 new hosts.
There we go.
I told you guys. They don't want to see any ties around this place.
No ties around here.
No, we're kidding for sure. Go ahead.
Joe coming in one of the tank tops there in the summer. Let's see what Adair is up to here, guys.
Keep an eye on NFLX popping here, trying to break out of this range
Josh
he's been
Brown.
trading in. And Alphabet. Josh Brown here, you sometimes call this Josh Brown pump or Josh Brown dump, announcing live on CNBC he has bought some Netflix and he's also sold some Google. So keep an eye here. Google pushing to the downside just a little bit there. Netflix getting a little bit of a pop as Josh Brown announces some of his purchases here. Just to double check here, sold Alphabet and bought Netflix. Back to you.
Imagine wearing a tie on a polo.
That's crazy.
I've never seen anyone wear a tie on a polo. What? You're getting amped up? You're getting amped up?
Let's go.
You're getting amped up?
And follow the volume here, guys. Pull up the screen. I said 114. Let's get this squeeze action working out. Of course, we wish we had the full size in here, but we're starting to grind higher. We're going to take, because my God, where's Pizza Rat at? Pizza Rat, you in the chat?
He's eating, bro.
He's eating pizza. He's eating pizza.
What do you want me to
Pizza
say?
Rat. That's what gigas do. We take them off at the top, 113.60 in change. Nvidia putting in that high day, now up 2.5% there, guys.
All right, Jose. Going to do that. Jose's trying to get me in trouble, man. All right, guys, let's talk about the trade that I had on before we went to break. Not OST. Look, I didn't get the ad on OST. I'm sad about that. That order is still going unfilled, and here we go into 2 again. I will not be convinced otherwise. OST is destined to flat top break. It is a classical ascending wedge where buyers are becoming more exuberant on every successive downturn, picking it up at higher and higher levels, with that $2 area on OST still acting as the main area of resistance. I realize that we've been above 2, the high of the day is 213, but there are no closing prints above that $2 area on my 5-minute chart. So I'm keeping my eye here on OST because this one can get parabolic. It's already big up on the day. It's a dollar stock, which gets a lot more people involved. It's got 136% in the green to its name right now, so it's a good look. There's going to be a lot of people looking at this. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm really interested in getting in on OST. I need to pick it up at very advantageous levels. And the reason is it's finding resistance at 2. So until we clear 2 with vigor and close above 2, you're not going to see me take the breakout trade. I will be looking at picking up that higher low on OST. That's my thinking on this one. Now let's talk about this. MURA. I got in on that dip, so it lost that $3, $3.10 area where I wet the beak. I added aggressively right at that area again at around 275, despite the fact that it did drop into 265. I couldn't catch it in time, and then we took it out at 3. Simple as that. Okay, we want the beak, obviously, on the way to 3. We didn't take out everything at 3, but now this one is putting in lower highs. So are the good times over for MURA, at least for the moment? Maybe it needs to reset, kind of get its footing under itself at the volume weighted average price, which currently, on my chart anyway, is at that $2.50 area. So I will not be involved with MURA until, 1, it clears 3 on a decisive basis, so I'll use 3 as support, or at that 250 area for the volume weighted average price retracement. That's my thinking right now on MURA. It's a good look. We had multiple trades on it, but it's in no man's lane right now, and I'm not interested in it at the moment. Boom, OST moving right back into that $2 area. So maybe we get that flat top break sooner rather than later here on OST. I wouldn't put my money on that. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to throw an order. We're going to go ahead and throw that order at that $1.75. And in fact, I'm going to front run it. I'm going to put it at double sevens. The reason is, while this one's already shown you a propensity to not move down into key areas of technical support. I'm talking about that $1.65. That's currently where the 20 EMA is. Lo and behold, it drops down into $1.69. So it's had this tendency to front run these key areas of support. So if you're going to pick it up off support, it behooves you to kind of take that into consideration, maybe put it a couple of shekels above that area. It's above $2 right now. So maybe the breakout trade may happen sooner rather than later. You're not going to see me take a high day break. I just won't do it. It's wicked multiple times past 2. Every single time it's wicked past 2, it's retraced, okay? So ideally, I get it in on a dip trade and then I hold for the break, the decisive break of 2. Maybe I can add because then I'll be in the money at the time. But you're not going to see me catch I'm not going to take a breakout trade on this. It's just not going to happen, okay? That's not my move here. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at OST. I'm looking at MURA. But there are others, guys. I haven't traded these ones. Let's talk about them, though. Maybe they interest you. So VERO has been trading in a bit of a range, I want to say, but it's above the volume weighted average price. So you can pick it up off 4 1/3, wet the beak at 4 1/2. That's a decent little range trade there. Who can complain about that? MBOT. MBOT's had a love affair with the volume weighted average price. Someone mentioned MBOT to me, but I was already involved in another trade, so I didn't jump into this one. But anyway, it's not giving you that much notional. Like we're talking about VWAP being at 240, it's printing 250 right now. So you're going to have to size up substantially here for a 10-penny move in order to make any real money. But we know that that's really part and parcel of a lot of small cap traders' game plan is they look for that 10, 15-penny move. They punch in 5,000, 10,000 shares. That's kind of, you know, how small cap trading is done sometimes. You don't hold for dollar moves most of the time. That's not a hard and fast rule. It's just, you know, the majority of the cases. EOSE as well. A good look, but I feel like this one's had the better part of the trade is behind this one. A couple of reasons. One, you know, that very clear uptrend that we had essentially from the pre-market all the way up until about 11 o'clock. Well, it's since died. We're putting in lower highs. We're also very consolidative. So that's kind of bad reason number one. Bad reason number two is look at that volume profile, man. We had I love it. Number one, I caught you with volume. Number two, you did your thing. I love it, Joseph.
Pull in the volume.
No, for real though.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, but look at it. If you show the chart, please.
Yeah.
So we got a whole bunch of volume over here, then it drops off a cliff,
Yeah,
Joseph,
off a
right?
cliff,
Like
yeah.
so. I mean, the fact of the matter is, EOSE. I'm not quite pleased with how this trade's looking, and I keep my eye out on it. Last but not least, Joseph, sorry to get a little long-winded here. USAR, I mentioned this one at the top. It's a holdover from yesterday. It's not giving up the ghost today, though, guys. It's putting in new highs. It held the previous day's lows. It's got everything good for it. The only thing is, you know, it's not the triple-digit mover it was yesterday. We're talking about a 25% move, and it's, you know, it's finding some resistance here at 15 bucks. It's done it multiple times. You had initial resistance at that 935 break, and you had quadruple top over here on the 5-minute at 15. So let's see what this one does. USAR, good look, but not setting up for me at the moment, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there. Skull had a good question. He said, Joseph, could you talk about your how you're able to hold on to winners longer, struggle with it so much coming from small caps? Yeah, I mean, first of all, full disclosure.
Great question.
Yeah, first of all, full disclosure. Been a tough market. My trading has been significantly better, but before I haven't been trading my best, so just full disclosure. But the thing is, Skull, is that and I guess it's an experience thing as well too. I don't know how long you've been trading, but then it's the most like stereotypical thing to say with trading is that you have to let your winners work. But how do you do that? It's that, okay, first of all, you need to understand when it's working. I think that's step one. When it's working, then just allow it to do so. And just let it continuously grind. Know your system and know when it's working, and then when it starts working, just let it play out. Just let it play out. Hold on to it, because if the stock's going to move higher or lower, and you're on the right side of the trade, just look at your key levels. Sean and Neil are focusing on support and resistance levels. They're taking it out at those key levels, and they leave a little bit for a runner, and that's just what I did here. I'm sorry if that's not the best explanation, but it's honestly almost as simple as that. If something's working, allow it to continue to work until it tells you that it's not, all right? So I decided to take some off on the backside of this trend here. So what you can see is in here, add, take off. Now that we didn't construct a new high and go up to 114, which is my target, then I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the options chain. We have a lot of open interest at 114 and 115. That can act as some overhead. We've already squeezed through some key levels. What is the Qs doing? Like, what is the market around you doing as well, which will allow you to be like, hey, I can hold on to this slightly longer. So, for example, with the likes of Nvidia, if you're in a long and all the other Mag 7 around it and all the other big names are dumping, well then maybe you should get out of that trade when it starts to dump. But if you're in the long and it starts to work, then hold on to it until the market tells you that it's no longer going to work. And that's kind of an example of here is just continue to allow it to work. I did have a bullish thesis here on Nvidia and IBIT as well too, but only half of that worked, right? So just allow the things that are working to continue to do so, as simplistic as that may sound. Let's see what Adair's up to.
Thanks.
Benign Amazon. AMZN, according to Wall Street Journal, has been asking its sellers about how they're being impacted by tariffs. So Wall Street Journal reporting that Amazon has been emailing its third-party sellers to ask how tariffs are impacting their business in a variety of different ways. Apparently, some sellers said they might actually have to close their online Amazon shops, but then there's others saying that they've hoarded some inventory and they're just waiting until the last possible moment to place new orders from China. So nothing supermarket moving here, but be aware AMZN checking in on its sellers with regards to tariff impacts. Wall Street Journal reporting that. Back to you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that, Darryl. One more thing before I send it back to you there, Sharif. So another thing to note is I would like to add on to this position, again, to make it as large as I possibly can, but we're also extended from the breakout zone, and then look at the distance between the volume-weighted average price and where we're currently trading. One thing to note, as Sharif just mentioned, the volume by time profile, look at it here. We play the breakout, we add in the breakout volume, sorry that wasn't displayed, but then now we're starting to pull back, and a positive note that we may continue to climb higher is that the volume is starting to decay, it's starting to dwindle as we start to pull back. You would expect sellers to really start to push that in and push the price down and head back towards VWAP, but what you can see is that they're not as aggressive as when the buyers step in. So that's what we're gonna look for. If price decides that it wants to turn around once again, then we might add to this position. Show them what you got going on. Give them the money.
Boom! OST, I lied. I said I wouldn't take the breakout trade. I freaking lied.
Ooh.
No. Look, it gave me the reason to. The volume came in crazy, Joseph. It came in crazy. So I had to get in. All right, now I'm waiting for the $0.50 break. Where are we long? We're long 24s. We're zigging and zagging with 40s. I've already got 45s. I'm waiting at 55s. This thing is up 204%. Keep going, OST. Don't stop now, baby. Can't stop, won't stop. All right. Oh, you think he's doing that in jail? You think he's going,
Who
like
does
that?
that?
Diddy, bro.
Diddy, is that what he used
You
to
don't
do?
know
I
that?
used to think, I thought Jerome Bigums always did that. That's why.
Tyrone Biggums?
Tyrone, yeah, Jerome. Tyrone, yeah.
His feet are strong.
Yeah.
Anybody who watched Chappelle's show knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Strong.
My feet are strong, Joe Rogan.
Hey.
All right, we're stopping out here, break a little bit on that dip down. Sorry, bro. Why are you coming to Neil? Because you always appreciate the Chappelle Show references. Kind of hard to get a lot of people to know what the Chappelle Show is. It's 20 years deep, baby. I mean, like, so if you want
the best segment. The best segment is the Mad Real World. You remember that show?
Remember?
Real World?
Yeah. 100% Cambodian.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't even want to talk
he's
about
like,
that.
You sit down when you. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah. You can either make the song or not make the song. Remember that Dylon guy?
Yeah.
Who are the
Dylon
top
is
5 rappers of all time? Dylon. Because I spit hot fire. You're too close, man. Right.
Dylon.
All right, sorry guys.
Hot hands in a
We're having a good time. All right, guys, here it is. So I took it out there on the move back down. So currently I have top wick on this, but OST is all sorts of crazy. So now the move on this one, for me, it becomes a $2 support level. All right, so we talked about the flat top break manifesting. It manifested. Now what I'm looking at is that $2 retracement. So I will be a buyer in that $2 single digit area. I'm talking about 207, 205, in and around that area. That's my next buy spot, Joseph.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Check this out.
We got.
So Robinhood changed the game by cutting commissions. They made trading more accessible, but now, listen to this, Trade the Pool is leading the next revolution, limited risk trading. The risk is capped at a one-time evaluation fee starting at just $47. You can choose how much you want to manage from 5K to 200K of the company capital. That means no margin calls, no account blowups, and no stress because it's someone else's capital. This is a limited risk revolution. Be part of it. TradeThePool.com and scan the QR code and save 10%. I mean, our guy Stevenson, he said he's pretty much almost done it there. So I haven't seen Stevenson. Etienne, where have you been all week, brother? I haven't
Show
seen
yourself.
you. I know you've been attempting that good stuff there on Trade the Pool, and I mean, $47. Why not take a swing at that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day, I think you got to test that out. It's only $50.
Guys, and look, we don't have the pattern day trader rule in Canada. Like, that's not something that we have to worry about. You got $1,000, you can take as many trades as you want. You got $500, you take as many. You guys can't do that. You need 25 big ones, right? To get that consistent.
You need north of 25.
You need north, right?
You need north of 25 because if you hit that $25,000
and it drops,
then that's it. You're now at PDT. Right?
There you go.
So essentially, you want to give yourself that cushion to be north of 25,000.
There you go. And that's what Trade the Pool helps out, right? You're not going to be trading with that PDT, right? Sure. And you're also going to be learning on somebody else's dime. So that's my thinking there. Hence why a lot of us come to prop firms, right? So that we can learn to trade, obviously with risk management and stuff like that. There's shutdowns. There's all sorts of stuff that we have to, cross our T's and dot our I's on. So I'm not saying it's a free-for-all, but we're learning on somebody else's dime, and this way you have an opportunity.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, guys, I mean, you just got to test it out. There is no getting away from market tuition. The first couple years are going to be tough, and with that, you don't really want to give away all your hard-earned capital, right? You worked a long time for that, to save, to get yourself even roughly to that trading standpoint. You don't want to give it all away, so that's why you learn through an easier platform, and you pay that tuition, not giving away your own hard.
Yeah, I should mention it's margin accounts at the PDT rule applies. Thank you, Frankie, for pointing that out. I do appreciate you, my man. All right, guys, so as I said I would do, on OST, I've already put my dip trade ready to defend that $2 area. Whether or not it comes into 2, an entirely different story. I am not Nostradamus. I cannot see the future, but I just try to put the odds in my favor. That's all I'm trying to do here. And I've seen this story before where that flat top break manifests. I'm talking about that ascending wedge for those who really want the technical name for the pattern, the higher low with that same area top. When it usually breaks that area top, it comes back in and tests it. Whether it does this time or not, we'll find out. But my order is there. Now, why is my order at 207 and not 2? Well, I've made this point very clear. I like to front run key areas of support and resistance. The reason being, it gets to be a crowded trade. So if I'm seeing that $2 area and I'm a really bad trader, other better traders are going to be sitting there as well. And so if they're seeing it and I'm seeing it, a lot of other people are seeing it, it becomes a crowded trade. So I like to front run it by a couple of shekels. And if that means, not getting as good of a price, That's a price of doing business. Now, that's not the only dip trade that I have. So OST is one. We're looking to defend two. And I'm also dip trading, or at least trying to dip trade, here on MURA. Now, this one is for a different reason. It's a support level, but it's a different type of support level. I'm talking with that volume-weighted average price. So currently on MURA, my VWAP area is about 252, 253. Let me just show you. So what I'm waiting for is kind of the same deal that we got over here. Look at this 2-candle pull up, or pull down, I should say, excuse me, at 10:20 a.m. and 10:25 on the 5-minute chart into the volume-weighted average price. That is what I'm looking for this time, okay? Again, I'm front-running that $2.50 area. I'm putting it a little bit higher because, trust me, if I see VWAP, lots of other people see VWAP too. So that's my move right now. MURA, looking for that dip trade into VWAP. OST, looking for that testing of that key area of technical resistance, now hopefully support at $2. Now, I also want to talk about USAR. I've had this one up on the side chart all day. We traded it yesterday on the show live. It's got a lot of resistance here at $15, Joseph. There's a lot of top pigtail candles, a lot of rejections. You got that initial rejection at 9:35 at 15, and we've been rejecting 15 over and over since 11:45. It's 12:30, so we're 45 minutes deep into this $15 rejection shenanigan nonsense. So let's keep an eye out on this one. I don't want to say this is going to be a flat top break. It doesn't look like, you know, your classical ascending wedge, but the fact of the matter is that 15 gets cleared, I'm getting involved, okay? So 15 has been obviously a very clear area of resistance, so we'll see exactly what we get there. OST is still dancing with that 2.25, 2.33. I'm looking for that test of 2, Joseph.
Yeah, so what I did there, my guy, I pulled up USAR's options chain, and I looked at right at 16. It's not the most liquid option underlying, but again, from a relative standpoint, 1.1 thousand contracts at 16. So maybe that's why we get some resistance up there, Sharif. So again, you can see on the chain, there's nothing relative to that. And then you can see on the call side that we have some higher levels of open interest. So coming in there as resistance. Ken, great question. When Nvidia went up just now, how do I know when I should join or just wait for pullback? When I finally try to join, I bought right at the top.
Yeah,
great question.
Yep.
I did this yesterday on Bull, and it was a really bad trade. But the first one was good. The second one was unacceptable in my books. But how do you identify when to participate? This is a great question. Well, let's start with just going by the volume by time profile. This is this, right? So each volume signature is correlated with each candle print here, right? So whatever the interval is, it will adjust and it will display and respect that. So why I added here on this position, well, look where the buying pressure really stepped in. Right, so and then look at the volume. So I'm essentially buying into this volume spike, right? And then you just want to participate and join the trend. So this is where I added the most aggressively. But now what I'm going to say to you is a lot of seed time. In my opinion, each individual candle tells a specific story. So when I was referring to IBIT earlier, and the likes of Nvidia, but when I was referring to IBIT, is what I was saying, look how orderly the price action is to the downside, and look how disorderly the price action is, and how weak the price action is when we pull back. So, and again, this comes with saddle time. So, look at the strength here in when we sell. Really, really aggressive, and those are really bearish prints. They're almost closing as full bearish prints. But then look at the indecision when we're on our pullbacks and we start to climb higher. The healthiness of the candles isn't as displayed here as it is with the bearish candles. Now, again, it's a lot of, once you get more comfortable, now that you've bought at the top, recognize when the stock pulls back or when you bought at the top and document it, and most definitely learn from that experience. Wait for those pullbacks. Go back, look at what I used to do when I first started trading is I would go through all of my charts, and then if I was looking at an uptrend, I would look at what the pullback candles look like. And the same thing, so if it's in a downtrend, what do the bullish prints on the pullback look like? And then once you have the ability to identify that, it's gonna help you a long way. Yesterday I made a mistake on bull, we're not going to repeat that. But again, it's just getting comfortable with how each individual candle prints. Get comfortable with your time frames. Don't always be switching from the 1, the 5, the 15, the 10, the 30. have a set of 3 time frames that you'd like to look at. Understand how the price action prints form, and then that will help you a lot with being able to identify when to get in, when to get out, and what's possibly a pullback.
All right, Joseph, it's time.
Oh, it's that time, eh?
It's time.
All right, brother.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps.
Today is another episode of, I have to pause because I got long here on MURA. I do apologize. A little anticlimactic, but that's kind of what we do here. We do it live. So let's go ahead and put these orders. So this is a dip trade right now on MURA for a VWAP retracement. So let's see if this holds VWAP or loses VWAP. Now we're long 56s. It's at 56. I've given it a little bit of room below the volume weighted average price as I'm required to do because, well, this thing's up 147%, so it could absolutely experience a lot of volatility. And that usually means wicks up and wicks down. So MURA, whoa, it just lost VWAP. Does it hold this level? Let's see if I get triggered out. Does it retrace above that $0.50? So it's below VWAP right now. I've given it to about 43s, excuse me, and there we go, we got stopped out. So yeah, we'll give back a little bit here on MURA, and that's kind of the cost of doing business. This one did not hold VWAP, so we'll take a bit of an L there. Now, going back, excuse me, where is my screen at? Now, another episode of Build an EV. Today we're going to build the VF9. So shout out to VinFast, obviously a sponsor of the show, but they're not sponsoring this segment. This is legit just for me. How much will it cost us to drive a tricked out VF9 in Canadian dollars? Right away you can see that headline. $699 a month lease with $3,300 down for 60 months with obviously an interest rate they're losing money on. Where are they borrowing at 1.5%? Yeah, you're not borrowing anywhere at 1.5%, so they're obviously subsidizing that. Let's go and build this bad boy.
$700 a month though, I feel that's
not
hefty.
Bad at all.
I think that's hefty.
For really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, not lately, dude. It's been tough lately, man. Yeah, money dropping. All right, how much is the base price on this monster? What's up, Fabian? How are you, buddy? Everything good?
What you got going on there?
Yeah. No, you can always interrupt us anytime you want, brother.
Phone too.
We got our mobile stream.
Oh, I like how you brought both cell phones for effect. Yeah.
Up here.
Is that an Apple?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice phone right there. Okay, that's nice.
That one's not.
Choose your.
No.
Who's that one?
Fabian's. Yeah.
Whose is it?
He doesn't
Yours?
like Apple. Thank you, Fabian, for so our mobile stream is back up. So let's get right back to business over here. This is a black car, and I love black cars.
We like black.
But I even like blue better. I'm sure you can tell by my shirt. I like this car, Joseph. And I've seen this car IRL. It's a nice car, bro.
Okay.
Can we get a little bit of the
inside? Behind one of these.
Oh yeah.
In this
Why?
Yeah, that's why I said to you we're gonna do a build a V, and that's why I said.
That's right. That's right. So it cost the base price, Joseph, $78,890 Canadian dollars. We're gonna go with the 6-seater though, Joseph. I don't want that 7-seat.
Hold on, I'm already priced out of this thing at $78K.
Hold on, but we can lease it, right? All right. 7 bills, these. All right. So we're going with the 6-seater. Now that 6-seater is gonna run us $1,550. If we drop down to 7, believe it or not, we actually save a couple of shekels, which is kind of weird. But we'll save those shekels. All right, interior color. We're gonna go blue on black.
Okay.
Right, blue on black is kind of my jam there. We're gonna ride on 21s. It doesn't look like we have much of an option. It's just giving me one option there.
That's all we got there.
That's it? That's all the options? Oh, come on now. How much is it gonna cost us, Joseph? How much are we gonna cost? Okay, so total price.
Out the door.
$77,320 because we dropped off that 6. So let's go to the lease. And then due today, an eye-watering $250. Not bad, not bad. How much would it estimate my payment? That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. All right, let's find out what the situation. A little anticlimactic, though. I thought they would have given us a few more options here.
Yeah.
All right, dollar amount. We're going to go 0 down.
0.
Payment, we're going to pay monthly. 60, okay. How many clicks do you do a year, give or take?
We'll throw 20 on there to be
Throw
safe.
20?
Yeah, we'll
All
throw
right,
20 up
fair.
there.
Province, we're going to go Ontario Delivery Center. Let's go Mississauga. So then we're paying $796.60
a month.
And is that including the amazing HST? No. With HST, look at this, guys.
Ooh.
and $4 a month, Katina Man goes into the pocket of the most efficient system in the world.
Sign him up. The guy said, listen, he finally got the taxes done. So he still hasn't got them done. So there you go. He's not going to be signing it. Maybe the return.
All I'm seeing is $100 a month that I have to pay in tax.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's like more than 12 grand a year. I'm just paying tax on my car.
Yeah, not for a VinFast. If I'm going, listen, I think we can get a nicer car for $900.
I agree. I agree.
Like
but the electric vehicles are kind of like you could probably build a Model Y for cheaper than this.
Probably.
100%. I think we can probably do it. We don't do it. We're doing it live. Say that again. We're doing it live, Katina Man. Let's go over.
So let's see. Are we going to go with the VinFast or are we going to go with the Tesla?
I think most people will want to say Model Y unless there's that Elon situation right now. So you never really know.
Can we do a BYD? We can't build a BYD over here.
We can. No, we can't. We can't. We can try to go to the Hong Kong website and try to do it that way. So allow while visiting the site. All right. So it's going to find out. We're already in Canada. You can tell because, can we show the screen, please? 526 kilometers. So obviously you can tell we're in Canada. We're going to build the same car.
But I like it though. Our price tag right off the jump is slightly lower, 5K lower.
Joseph, you didn't even notice that this is a Juniper, bro.
There we go.
With the old one's not even available no more. So this is the Juniper. This is the new Model Y. So let's do this. Katina Man, what color are we taking? White. We're going white. That's Randy's favorite. Okay. All right. I love how Randy's here. It makes everything so much better.
Going to the 20s.
Randy, are we going on 20s or 19s? 20s. That's my man. That's what I want to hear, Randy.
We knew that answer anyway.
We all knew the answer. We all knew the answer. So we're riding on 20s. Are we going to go white on what? We got to go white on black. We can't go white on white. White on white? You're a rabid. Okay, we're going white on white. I don't like that, but we're going to go white on white. Now, we can't take FSD here, Joseph, because that's going to cost us 11 grand.
I will throw it
and
on
VinFast doesn't have FSD, right? Are we trying to do a fair comp? Let's try to do a fair comp.
No
FSD.
Life ain't fair, man.
Life ain't fair, brah. I love it. I love it. So let's go ahead and have a look over here. Estimated purchase price, $77,823. Let's explore financing, Joseph. Like, how much is it going to cost us? We're going to go to the lease. We're going to go zero down on, no, they don't offer 60 months. It's 48.
48 months.
And check the what?
The brisket.
What does that mean? Okay, so Joseph, it's going to cost us $1,085 on a 20,000 kilometer, 48-month lease, and you got to fork over $1,218 now. Do you want to include the gas savings? We didn't do that with VinFast, though.
I did.
All right, we'll include it. It brings it down to $852 a month if you average the amount of gas you would have to weasel into. But quite frankly, have you looked at some of the supercharging costs? They're quite close to gas.
Oh, are they?
30, 40, 50 bucks for 0 to 80, 0% to 80%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's not cheap. That's why you got to get FSD. Or sorry, you got to get supercharging privileges. Yeah, ask Randy, dude. I mean, it's pricey now at the supercharging stations. If you get supercharger included, you don't have to worry about that, right? So that's the situation. So Tesla looks like it's a couple of $100 more a month, but this is the brand new Model Y.
That's the brand new Juniper. So if you ask me, I'm going with the Tesla, not the VinFast.
I'm going to go with the Tesla as well.
Dang.
I'm going to go. Do you have any idea what kind of accessories you can get on this bad boy? Tesla is like the iPhone of cars, bro. The amount of accessories, Joseph. You can get a heads-up display. You can get like a center screen.
But it sounds good.
A heads-up display, like it projects the speed and everything else, navigation on the windshield. Yeah. Joseph's fun. I love it. All right, guys. So I would go with the Tesla. Certainly, that's just my opinion. But obviously VinFast, a good looker as well. Guys, we're about to get filled here. It looks like here on OST, and boom, we got the fill. We shouldn't get too excited too quickly because now we have to actually make money on the trade. So let's go ahead and put those orders. In case you were wondering what I'm doing here, this move into OST was for a test of that $2 breakout area. That's my thinking. We already took a printout. Let's see if we can get more. I'm waiting at 17s. We're showing 15s now with 16s possibly coming in. That's my move right now. on OST, looking for this to move back up. Joseph, my man, what do you got on your side?
Yeah, I'm still sitting in this NVDA trade here, guys. You can see, sorry, just battling these dark pool prints along with the charts here. So it's like a dual front there, I guess you can say. But here we go. I want to see what's going on with BAC. Reported today, but look at this price compression, guys. A nice strong pattern, and then now we're just essentially moving sideways. Now, I will note, in personal experience, hence the personal, that not New York Stock Exchange equities trade extremely different sometimes than NASDAQ. So here we go, starting to move sideways on Bank of America. So again, which way are we gonna break? For the individual in the chat who's like, how do we follow the volume? Well, what I would suggest to you is just sit here and wait, because it may or may not happen, but if this underlying decides that it wants to break through to a specific direction, when price is really compressing like this, especially on an earnings day, wait for that volume to step in and tell you which way it goes, all right? So that's what I got my eyes on it. It's in my peripherals, so I'm gonna be patient to see if that volume steps in, and then maybe we can take an additional leg higher here in BAC. And there we go. Look, we're starting to push higher. Let's zoom in and get to the lower time frames. Are we picking up here? Not just yet, but again, not the most liquid asset, but we really want to see the volume on the lower time frames start to pick up and us run through some key resistance zones there. I see my name tagged a lot here in the chat here. I wonder what's going on. Joseph, Shrieve's side hustle car renewal channel. Okay, Crapstock's waiting for the car renewal. All right, we like that one. Anush, yeah, it's a good participation there, guys. Yeah, good time. It's Tuesday, and it's a short week as well too. So,
it is, man.
So
it's gonna be a good week. I hope everybody has a fantastic week.
Yeah, I'm gonna head over to what is it, AT&T Stadium there.
Guy rubs it in every day, bro. Every day he's rubbing it in.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
See what it's like over there. You know what I mean? I'll give it.
I'll see how it's like. Yeah, I'll let you know.
I'll give an honest review, because that's what I'm known for. I'm known for the food reviews. I will give an honest stadium review.
You can actually take a tour of AT&T Stadium?
I'm gonna try to go there.
I love it. I think say hi to Jerry.
Say what up to Jerry. What's going on with Dak? Did you guys re-sign him there, or?
I don't know what the hell's going on.
You don't know? Okay, maybe I'll talk with Dak as well, too, to see what's going on. I think he would fit good in Cleveland, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel.
They're not going to be able to move him either.
He's not moving anywhere. So there you go. Is CD still there?
Boom, Joseph,
right,
yes. On OST, CD's there, yeah. CD got paid. CD got paid. Micah got paid. Dak has a long-term contract as well. It's going to be hard to move him.
So there we go.
But guys, I want to talk about OST, man. We said we would wait for that $2 retest. It was an ascending wedge. Let's talk about why I took this trade, okay? Even though I should have been holding for more. The idea here is this was a higher low, higher low, higher low situation with that $2 acting as that area of technical resistance. So we've rejected $2 multiple times. Then we took out $2 on a very decisive basis, getting all the way up to 257. So I said to myself, look, if this comes back in and tests that previous level of resistance at $2, it should now act as support. It's exactly what it did. I have the bottom wick on this candle. Sadly, I don't have the top wick on the exit. We'll look to do a little bit better, but this is why I did it. I like that trade for exactly that reason. These ascending wedge patterns, these flat top breakouts, they often come back in and test that very aggressive resistance level as support. So keep that in mind. When you see these higher low, flat top patterns, they usually come back in and test it. That's exactly what OST did here. Keeping my eye out for more trades on this. High of the day right now, $2.57. Let's see if this one can catch another bid. It's up 190%, guys. So a lot of eyes are going to be on this, right? Triple digit winner, the #1 gapper in all the market right now, ahead of MURA. So fantastic look. Let's see if it gives us more trades on it. Right now, we're done the trade. So OST, definitely focusing on that one. Oleg, Sharif, Joseph, what about the massive Tesla recall due to replacing computers? So I didn't hear anything about that, about replacing computers, and we report on Tesla all the time. What I did hear about, though, Oleg, was the fact that Elon promised everybody that if you have a Tesla beyond a certain year, full self-drive would work on your car. What Tesla doesn't announce all that often is the hardware model. There's hardware version 1, 2, 3, 4. Essentially what that is are the cameras that get installed on the car as well as some other things. And so apparently to get the very latest full self-drive, or in the future when it's like level 4 or whatever, you're going to need to upgrade some of those hardware components. So I don't know which version is compatible. That I think it's 3 and up. I could be wrong. I can check. But the point is, he misstated in the sense that if you had any Tesla, I think beyond like 2017, 2018, I don't really know, guys. No, that wouldn't be accurate because the Model 3, I believe, was 2020. So maybe 2020 and up, we can check this. But anyway, if you had a Tesla, you would be able to use FSD on like the full version. And I don't think that that's actually the case. You're going to have to upgrade it. So that's my understanding. I don't know what you mean, though, about replacing computers. Because we report on Tesla every day, and I'm pretty sure they haven't been replacing computers. So let me know what you mean by that, brother, because I don't really know. All right, what else is everybody doing over there? Shout out to Tony. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate your kind words, my man. Ozan Sharif has said that in the ER also, he said he will be so happy to replace them if FSD usage was much higher. Interesting. That's going to cost a lot, though, Ozan, man. You know, and the thing is, with Tesla, when they do these recalls, 99% of the time, they're over-the-air updates, right? Because everything is software-related. So imagine him having to replace all that. That would definitely be a bit of a hit there on the quarter, anyway, for the balance sheet. But thank you. I do remember him saying that, Ozan. Shout out to you, my man. Tom Train, Sharif, misstated. LOL, you're too kind to him. Look, brother, I mean, like, you know, I mean, a lot of people, they don't like him. And I respect their opinions. I happen to like him, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's just me, okay? What else we got over here? Then, yo, Sharif. Yo, what about JNVR? Say less, my man. We're going to look at JNVR for you right now. JNVR. Can we show the screen, please? All right, here we go. Very lightly traded on the day. This is Janover Incorporated, $105 million market cap. Only 483,000 shares traded on the day. I don't know if you're asking me about the daily trade on this. Let's go and have a... Oh, wow. What the hell is this? This is the daily on JNVR. What a rocket ship this is. It's not giving back anything. Did you guys have eyes on this? Look at the chart. This is not giving back anything. This is the daily, boys. $4 back on April 7th. It's at $80. This is a dang rocket ship. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you for pointing this out. Usually, you know how these small cap gappers are. They're around for a good time, not a long time. This one's hanging out, man. Thank you for pointing this out. Anyway, on an intraday basis, it's kind of hard to say anything good about it if you're looking intraday because it's just being bought off VWAP. Well, that's what it seems like. But on the daily, this is a rocket ship. What does this company do? Operates AI-powered online platform that connects with commercial real estate. The company provides data and software subscriptions as well as value-added services to multifamily and commercial property professionals. Adara's got more information on it, though. Let's send it to her.
So Janover, the real thing right now, the reason this got this move recently is that it is basically a Solana play. Apparently, these investors formerly from Kraken, starting in early April, they're really trying to make this, as they've called it, the Solana of, or sorry, the MicroStrategy of Solana. They're trying to do pretty similar here to what Michael Saylor did with now known as Strategy, MSTR, with regards to raising this money and then using it to buy a crypto asset. Janover today announcing they purchased 10.5 million Solana under their new treasury strategy. So this is kind of a GME type play. This is an MSTR type play. JNVR, that is some context for this name. I knew it sounded familiar, so I did a quick deep dive on that to familiarize with myself with it. They are really trying to call this and I've actually seen it referred to as this, the MicroStrategy of Solana. Back to you.
That's great reporting, Adara. Thank you for that. I mean, I had no idea somebody even doing that. I wonder if somebody's buying ETH in the same way that your friend Saylor has been buying Bitcoin.
Saylor?
Nobody?
I don't think so.
No. Katina Man is negatory on that one.
Maybe Vitaly or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, they got one of the co-creators, yeah. Yeah. He's probably already
he went
stacked
to
up
Western
there.
or something. Like
Did he
that.
actually go to
pretty
Western?
sure, yeah.
No way. Elon.
Waterloo or something.
Waterloo,
like
yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, 'cause Waterloo's the
I think it
engineers
was either like
school.
Waterloo or what.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Your friend Elon went to Ottawa, right?
Did he go to Ottawa?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he went to
I thought
Ottawa.
he went to Queens or something.
Okay, Queens
was it
maybe.
Queens?
Yeah,
went to
okay.
Queens, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in the east there. Guys, OST is moving yet again, okay? So here we go. There's a seller of note at 240 over here, and you can just see the fact that there is a seller at that $2.40 area by the fact that we don't have closing prints above 240. We've wicked above 240, 250. I have a print. I have an exit, above that 240, but the closing prints are always what's operative to me right now, okay? So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. 257 high of day, but OST is on one right now. It's been very strong all day. It's flirting with 200. It's above 200% right now. This one could see 300 easily. The thing about OST, though, is it doesn't have much of a short float. The Trade Ideas is saying 0.03% on a float of 1.31 million. So I guess what it's got going for it is a small float. That on its own, without a large short float, a small float can get a stock parabolic because, well, there's just not that many shares to go around. So what you end up doing is you end up going through the entire float, what we call float rotation on the day. Case in point, we've done about 40.17 million shares, so we're very close to, 40 times float rotation. That's what we're talking about there. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man short Apple again right now on the, you're still at 203 and a quarter? Well, show us chart. There it is. There's the short, the purple triangle right there. That's the 203 and a quarter. He's been shorting up there multiple times. You can see that as well earlier on. Yeah, he's saying right there where he's pointing right there with his cursor, he should have been getting in more. You always shoulda, coulda, woulda, Katima, man. It's still a good trade, brother. Fantastic look there. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Sharif. So, okay, guys, so before I got out of my desk, I was going to mention, look how garbage the SPY and the Qs have been essentially trading. Eastward price action, right? We're literally moving sideways from a direction standpoint. Now, you can see that we have, we're starting to compress in price, right? And then now we're breaking through some key support levels and we're cracking the trend. And look at all of the big names. Meta is absolutely tanking. Tesla heading towards some key support levels and Nvidia coming back in from that high a day. Here we go. The volume on the 5-minute time frame started to slowly pick up. Let's zoom in and see what we have going on from a 1-minute standpoint, okay? So now we're starting to stair step. This is what we're referring to is by following the volume. I wish I got in on this short. We have cracked it, so now wait for that retest. But the volume seems to be with the selling pressure is to the downside. You can see it with the likes of some big names. So if you're trading the TQs, you have to monitor the MAG and some of the other big names. Look what Meta's doing, all right? Look what Tesla's doing. You have to monitor them in order to see what they're up to. If they're climbing higher, okay, then you want to participate in the TQs that way. But if they're starting to sell, like Meta is moving towards the low of day and has put in a new, exactly, we're going towards the gates. And this is what you need. Has that volume stepped in your short Intel? The $20? Okay, let's go check out Intel here, INTC. I mean, it's not going to move the market, but here we go. It's starting to break down as well, too, heading towards some key support levels. So keep an eye on that. We're about to break. Let's see what the TQs are up to. Wait for that pullback there, guys, and then you might be able to participate. But let's see what Adair is up to.
Yeah, just be aware, in addition to all of this market movement and excitement, Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, is set to take the podium anytime now, really. She's set to start at 1 p.m. Eastern, usually a couple minutes later than that. So we'll let you know. I have the White House stream open and ready to go, but it has not started yet. It's just the welcome page. The stream will begin shortly. So keep an eye on the market with that in mind. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, set to take that podium at any moment. Back to you.
So Caroline will be speaking there shortly, guys. And so there we have it on the TQs. Let's take a look at the S&P. So you can see that we're running into some key support levels as well. So what can we do? We're trading sideways. Whether you are a options trader or are trading straight equities, I think it's still good to monitor the chain. So what is the chain telling us? And is there key levels of support at the levels that we're starting to trade at? So I'll pull up the cues here. Sorry, I know the SPY is the most common one, but I put up the cues here first. So what do we have from support basis? I don't want to look at today's expiration cycle. Let's go to the end of the week. 455 may be in the works. What was the pre-market low? 450. Wow, 455 to the penny almost there. That is crazy, and that is the pre-market low there, guys. And you can see on the options chain, 26,000 open contracts on the put side, right at that 455 strike, and that pre-market low 455 and change.
Google today? Why is Google this down, bro? This doesn't make a lot of sense. All I see is I was about to say it there. I just loaded it up right there. Josh Brown's got to cool it, bro. And people need to stop copying Josh Brown's trades. Sold Alphabet, announces bought Netflix. And then Alphabet or Google, obviously, down 2%. Google was, I think, the best performing mag on the morning. I mean, it didn't seem to be as affected. Let's have a look here at the 5-minute on goggles, because I personally thought Google was strong on the day. I was wrong. When did it turn? Yeah, no, I was definitely wrong. To be honest with you, the Katina man just notified me he's long Pfizer. So he's definitely nursing a couple of losing trades there. Shout out to Joshua Brown.
I mean, he's long K-Web too, I'm pretty sure, which...
That I don't mind too much. I don't mind too much.
He was buying K-Web at the lows.
I don't mind that.
20.
Yeah.
And he also owns Toast too.
Who the hell is Josh Brown, says JCB Sports Cards. Well, he is one of the people who are running. What's it called? I don't know what what's their hedge fund called again? Ritz-Hold Wealth Management, but he is one of the co-hosts of The Compound, which is a podcast, a financial podcast I happen to listen to. I like him. Get it.
What do you mean? Josh Brown is that guy.
I like Josh Brown.
I love Josh Brown.
Like, I don't love him, but I like him. He's
like
okay,
Josh,
right?
Man.
I like who do I like in like the financial world a lot? Danny Ives.
You like Danny?
I like Danny Ives.
I like Tom Lee too.
So Tom Lee's a no joke. I like the
three.
soft-spoken side of Tom Lee, but he's a heavy hitter.
I like Cameron Dawson too.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I mean,
we're not going to bring that up on the show, bro. Can't do that on the show,
what do you
bro.
mean? I'm just saying, I like Cameron Dawson. She's always on it. I think she's good.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
she is.
She's fine, Joseph.
Yeah, she's good.
Fine, bro.
She's good.
All right, guys. All right. Yeah, you're going to have to Google there, Katina, man. He knows.
What do you mean, New Edge Wealth?
Others Inc., I don't think Josh Brown is bad at all, man. I listen to his podcast every week. If I didn't think he was legit, I wouldn't be listening to the pod. Obviously, I like a lot of the guests that he has on there. I think he had Jenny Harrington on last week, and she's obviously a co-host of his on CNBC, and they riffed, and it was fine. I mean, I like the podcast. I just flat out. Guys, I'm continuing to watch here, OST. It's continuing to trade below 240, so my thesis, I think, has been accurate on this one. There is a seller of note at that 40 penny level. That looks like they're going to get taken out, though, quite frankly. And the reason I make that assumption or that prediction is because, again, the same way that I made that prediction about that $2 level, we have consecutively higher lows. The buyers are picking this up incrementally at higher and higher levels. So they're in control. That's just the way I see it. Now we're at 40. Here we go. Are we going to squeeze this time, or is it going to be one of those ones where we zig and zag a little bit above 40, a little bit below? Well, keep in mind that the high of the day on this bad boy is 57, and there's a seller at 50, and they just got taken out. So now the high of the day is 72. It spiked up. That's a real print into 72. Now it's really zigging and zagging here. So do we get long? Is this the move? So I'm going to get long. All right, here we go. Let's go. We're doing it live. We're going to take it. Whatever, bro. We lose on it, we lose on it. I mean, you're not going to try, then just what are you here for? So let's do this again. Let's go again. Here we go. It did wick up into the high 50s, excuse me. Seller now at 55s. Can we take them out? Seller at 56s now. So there's sellers literally at every level. I have to defend into 40. 40 is the breakout level. I can't take it out before that, so I have to defend into 40 pennies. Adara, what's up?
So we were just talking here about whether or not there's news on Google, and we actually get a Google-specific catalyst coming through here. Anthropic, which is, of course, an AI company, announcing that their Claude model can now integrate with Google Workspace. So Google Workspace integration here for Anthropic, not a huge market-moving thing, but GOOGL at lows, on watch with that in mind. Also, still waiting on Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, to begin that briefing. Excuse me, we know that these briefings can and sometimes do move the market. Back to you.
That's Sharif. I'm pretty sure you covered Nick W's on PHIO, but then we had Lulu 5455. €1, thank you, super chat. Nothing behind it, and then another euro super chat. Thank you very much, Nimrod. How about SALM? We'll take a look at that. Thank you for the $6 there, my friend. And then you also gave us another 30 there. I can't thank you guys enough. I literally earned a month's rent last couple of trading days with you. What's your take on buying small tickers pre-market? That's definitely Sharif's realm. We'll get into that later.
That's the best.
But we're gonna go through some of these super chats here first. Another $5,
wow,
€5 from Lulu. Sharif, love your work. Tell Joseph to eat some pie and check out Bull, please. Wow. All right. Hey, I'm catching a lot of heat on the pie, but hey, we'll take it. And then Timmy Armstrong, thank you, Timmy. $2. No Jeep talk. What I missed today, boys.
Oh.
And Dara. So yeah, thank you for that one. I mean, hey, I'll make a deal with you guys.
Yeah.
If we beat the last super chats, then maybe I'll have a full
that's an ask.
Hey man.
Hold on. How much? Because we got a lot for that.
Listen.
Why don't you tell them?
I'm not going to disclose it. I'm not going to disclose it because.
How can they know how to beat it then, Joseph?
Exactly. That's the thing, right? I'll be honest though. We'll be frank. It's part of it, and I will eat a piece of whatever pie. We'll throw a poll up, and I'll have that.
Don't say that,
pie.
Joseph. They'll send like what's it called? What was that thing called over there? That thing, Vegemite pie. They'll send a Vegemite pie.
But it has to, no. It has to go on the poll, right? And then we vote on the poll. Yeah, like
fair.
You know what I mean? We're not throwing up Vegemite pies
Why not?
or anything like that. So I said that now. If we surpass that, then maybe I'll eat a piece of pie on that.
All right, Joseph, we're doing it live. Now we're waiting at 69s. You know, if we're in the 60s, you know exactly where I'm going to be waiting.
Tell that.
So we took 53s. We're scalping. I'm still interested in defending into 240. I don't have the best price, obviously, because of the spike up, but we took the majority of the position out through the break of 60 there. Now I'm waiting at 69s, but let me tell you guys, this is having a lot of trouble clearing 50. And so in the same way that it was having trouble with 40, it's having trouble staying above 50. Now, let's see what the deal is with 60. It's having trouble at every level. So, you know, despite the fact that it's up 216%, it's got a small float. I think possibly the lack of a short float, a significant short float, anything above 1%, is really kind of hurting the parabolic potential of this one. So we're having to kind of, stair step up rather than skyrocket up. And, that's okay. But it just requires a little bit more patience. Now we're getting selling again at 55. So the same short seller keeps instituting that same short position at 55. Let's see if we can take them out on a decisive basis. Back into 60 we go. Now we've got selling at 60. Can we move up a little bit more? As I mentioned, the high of the day is 72. But look at this. We're rejecting 60 yet again. All right, so some selling coming in here. Let's keep an eye out. OST is the ticker I'm looking at, guys. It's up 225%. It is a small cap gapper. These ones that show up on the scanner, they're around for a good time, not a long time. So don't think that I'm buying this for the long term or anything like that. This is an intraday trade only. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Zigging and zagging right now with the low 60s, looking for that 69 print, Joseph.
Okay, guys. All of the pie suggestions, they're comical. But let's see what we got.
Why? Give me the best one.
I'm definitely not going to give you the best one. That's for sure. But it was said by SPF, so we won't repeat that. But here we go, guys. Let's see if we can get the ball rolling here on BAC. I would have liked the entry to be a little bit more cleaner, but you can see that volume's really starting to step in. I mean, the market was tanking. We were holding relatively strong. And then now as we bid back up, you get that breakout here in BAC. I think this one's going to be more of a slow burner. We'll be patient and then add to the position here. But again, we're playing that breakout style pattern. Let's see if we can get this to get going here, the ball to start rolling here in BAC. I'm ready to add, Sharif, at the retest.
I like it, man.
We're starting really, really small. And then if that volume really starts to pick up and we confirm that breakout, then I'm going to be adding to the position. And here we go. It's starting to roll. This is going to be more of a slow grind. Maybe we dabble a little bit more, nothing crazy, as we start to punch through some key resistance zones here, guys. Okay, Okay, so there we go. We just added another about 30% on that one. Nothing crazy. Let's see if we can get this breakout at 38.41s. I do like the volume by time profile. That is positive, and I know a couple people in the chat were referring to that BAC is starting to move. If this volume can be sustained, I like this trade. But if it breaks back down, then we'll just get out at the break of the volume weighted average price, and then see if we can get a better price at a better position at that point. So yeah, that's it. Ravi Fernandez, you've seen that, and I was looking at that, and I seen that you mentioned it in the chat. So good luck on that one. We have put in a nice healthy candle to the top side, punching through some key resistance zones, looking like we're going to go and test that high a day, but we need that volume to step in order for us to continue on the path that we currently are on.
Joseph, I'm going to talk about my trade in a second.
Okay.
Just got this thing on my feed out of Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
World's most expensive cocktail.
Yeah.
What'd you think? What would you say, you know, the price on something like that would be?
13,000.
Keep going, baby.
25.
Keep going.
50.
$42,000, 156 dirhams, which equates to about $42,000 for this piece of crap. Like that
I
thing.
can make you that. You want me to make you that?
That looks like, I can't say on camera. but yeah.
I can make you that, and then you can pay me.
What the hell is in this thing, bro? Crafted with a bespoke blend of rare ingredients that tells me a lot. The cocktail included a bottle of Kina Lillet from the 1950s, okay, and an aromatic bitters dating back to the 1930s. Okay, that's why this stuff is like 100 years old. It was served in a 1937 Baccarat crystal glass that had previously been showcased in a museum. This all seems like you all got too much money, man.
Yeah, that's too much money.
Yeah, you got too much money. Anyway.
But I mean, if you had that type of dinero, would you buy the thing?
Yeah, well, no, would I? Well, I don't want to drink. So,
Okay, so you'd get it.
I got something else with that money.
You get the virgin version.
Absolutely not. I just waste my money on something else. Right? Like it's not alcohol.
A couple junipers, I guess.
Ooh, yeah. Well, that kind of money, you're not really looking at junipers. You're looking at flying cars at that point. You know, eVTOLs.
eVTOLs. Huh?
No, seriously though. 250 break, guys. Very proud of this trade here on what's it called? On OST. Took it out at 69s. It's essentially 70. It continues on its merry way as it typically does. 278. This thing is on one, guys. The pattern is very consistent. It's been respecting the 10 exponential moving average. Generally on the pullbacks, if you don't want to take it off the moving averages, it has respected price action, support and resistance. I'm talking about that $2.50 area top. I'm talking about that $2 area top. Areas that have acted as key resistance levels have come back in and then acted as support once they were cleared. That has been the case here with OST. It's been a very good, consistent trade. There hasn't been too much bamboozlement, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. That is part and parcel of the nature of these small cap gappers. They are bamboozling by nature, so you got to get them while they're good and don't try to be catching this on a downtrend. I have a feeling that once this one turns, it's going to turn, it's going to be aggressive. So here we go. This one is really breaking out now. We were talking about $2. Now we're taking out $3. Wow, $2.99 high a day. This one is really zigging and zagging right now. 260% in the clear. Keep your eye on $3. Now we've got a whole dollar level with which to work. Right? In the same way that we had that $2 level where we were working with earlier. It feels like a long time ago we were in this at $1.50. We've been in this multiple times. So OST is on one right now, guys. Keep your eye out on this one if you're interested, in these small cap gapper trades. I would submit to you guys, this is the best one right now in the market. And you know, I don't want to say easy. There's nothing easy about this, but consistent. We'll watch to see if it can break that $3 area. Nimrod, I live in Dubai 40% of the time. The funny thing is that alcohol is illegal in public, only small bars and hotels. Yeah, you know, most of the Middle East is like that, Nimrod. You kind of know that already. If you've lived there, you know what the deal is in the Middle East with alcohol. They're not big fans. Egypt is the same way. Very few places you can actually drink. It's legal, but to get your hands on alcohol in Egypt is tough. Most of the stuff that you get is imported by smugglers. Just going to put that out there, okay? All the good stuff that you get is smuggled into the country. So it's kind of hard to get your hands on some good stuff there in the Middle East. Not like I really care, because I've I'm liking drinking a lot less
These a bang.
these days, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's good, man. Well, I mean, you haven't. You said since New Year's you haven't really touched anything.
I haven't touched one drink. That we had that blue label on New Year's that I've been nursing that bad boy for 4 years, and I'll probably have it for another 4, maybe longer. And yeah, I don't really have the inclination to.
There you go, man. Good stuff there. Good strong willpower. Even when we were cracking cold ones here, he's like, no, thank you. I shall pass on that one. All right, guys,
good with yourself too.
Let's pardon me.
You're pretty good with that yourself.
Yeah, no,
too,
honestly,
bro.
I very rarely. So when we play hockey, I'll have one after that. But again, I'm usually maxed out at 2 these days because next day I want to get up and go to the gym. I'm not 24 anymore where I can go in and party.
And that's the thing.
And then hit the gym. I would prefer. Oh, did a nice 9.5K yesterday.
I had a boy, bro.
Yeah, so we're gonna bang that.
It was a beautiful day yesterday afternoon.
Today, and I'm gonna run another one today.
Man.
I'm gonna do a month span of at 30K a week. I think I'm gonna try to get to. Yeah, I can do that.
Take it easy on the joints, though, bro.
Yeah, got to get them rolling. Oh yeah, I told you that I have a little arthritis in the old knee too. So there you go. There's 32.
Get on that glucosamine chondroitin, bro. I told you about
that. But yeah, here we go, guys. Let's take a look at Meta. This thing is getting beaten to a pulp now, putting in another low a day here. So let's go from the peak here, all-time high. After that massive 16-day streak that we ran on, we're now currently down 30% from that. And these pullbacks have almost been borderline micro pullbacks. So just watch out for this here. And then from the peak to that low, there's about 35%, and it doesn't look like we want to turn around again. Antitrust going on with Mark Zuck. This is day 2 of the trial, guys, and it doesn't seem to be looking too good. But see, to be frank, the same thing happened with Google, right? When all that was going on, all that noise, and you can see the weakness in it. It was somewhere. It was before all of this, to be honest. It was somewhere in along here when it was really the trial was going on, I believe. So yeah, you can see that weakness, and now it's being displayed in the likes of Meta as well too, Sharif.
Interesting stuff. So let's talk a little bit about this, Joseph, because I didn't get to read some of the headlines like we've been doing lately. So Adira reported yesterday that Zuck took the stand. I was really surprised by this because Zuck took the stand on day 1. Like, I didn't anticipate this. I thought, there would be a buildup. The media would be covering this. Oh my God, Zuck's going to take the stand, this, that, and the other. Let's talk about what he said and some of the things that were disclosed during his examination. So, yes, here it is. Zuckerberg testifies. So Zuck took the stand. He said Meta acquired Instagram in 2012 because he said Facebook was falling behind the mobile-first platforms, and that makes absolute sense to me because I remember until about 2012 or 2013, I was using Facebook mostly on desktop. I think about 2013 onwards, I started using it more on mobile. I don't know if everybody else did the same way. He argued the move was necessary and that, even though Facebook was falling behind, Instagram's success was not guaranteed before the acquisition. And I remember specifically, I downloaded Instagram in the summer of 2012, and I had my first post on that. I have it archived. I've got proof. Get it, Dara? Well, Adara's the same thing for her as well. So I remember specifically when Instagram started getting big. And to me, it started getting big in the 2012s. And that's when he picked it up. Their defense, the Meta defense that is, Mark Hansen is their attorney. He claimed that offering free services to billions of people is proof that the company isn't monopolizing. He says, how can a company be a monopoly when Meta never charges users? That's his argument. We'll see how that holds up in court. So what's next? Sheryl Sandberg is next. She's the former, obviously, chief operating officer. She used to be called lovingly, of course, the only adult in the room back when Meta was just made up of a bunch of college kids and 20-somethings. She was obviously the elder of the bunch. Also, former CTO, chief technology officer, Mike Schroepfer, I don't know how to say his name, and other Instagram co-founder Kevin Systrom, all expected to testify about the matter. So we'll see exactly what comes out from there. I want to keep going on. Zuckerberg disclosed in an unexecuted 2022 internal proposal, he wanted to wipe everyone's graphs. Essentially, what he wanted to do was reset all of Facebook user connections to start from scratch. He was like, look, Facebook is stifling. He wanted to switch from a friend model where you have like certain friends into a follow model, very much like, you know, X and Instagram. The plan was aimed, he says, at reviving Facebook's cultural relevance as user growth and engagement started fledgling. In internal emails, Katina Man, Zuckerberg floated a shift to a follow-based model, like I just alluded to, like Instagram or Twitter. The idea, though, obviously was ultimately scrapped as he did receive pushback from within. So some of the stuff that we didn't know, I personally didn't know any of this, Zuck obviously having to disclose all this under testimony, under oath. So I wonder what else we're going to get from today. I don't know if he's testifying today, and I also don't know whether he faced cross-examination. You also get a lot more information in cross because, well, it's not a friendly party that's examining you. And also cross-examination, you can lead, you can be a lot more aggressive, whereas direct examination, there's a lot of rules involved that you can't cross. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Zuckerberg, I'm not sure if he's testifying today, but interesting stuff, at least for me, having, you know, I've had a Facebook account since 2006, so I've obviously known the company and been not financially invested in the company. I had a good trade on Facebook back in the day, but yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, just for my own curiosity. And
what is, but at the end of the day, what is the difference between friends and following? Isn't that essentially the same thing?
Yeah, right? Not really, because you're not following back people who are following you necessarily, but you are friends with everybody.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mutual,
okay.
you know what I mean?
It's more mutual.
Yeah,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's a look there. I mean, I don't think that really changes a whole lot.
No,
right?
I mean, this thing is, Sharif, look at,
go ahead.
Here, let's pull up Meta here, guys, for you. We're still sitting in this BAC. It's going to be a slow grind, so just hold your horses on that front. Maybe an all-day burner, but here we go, down 2%, closer to 2% here, Sharif. On the day is Meta, and dragging the overall market down with it as well, too, guys. So continuing to bleed there at 526, breaks through some of these key support levels, and now trading at 521. Let's take a look at the chain to see what we got going on that front to say, hey, is this going to be some max pain, as my good friend Ronnie Williams in the chat mentioned. Okay, so let's see what we got going on.
FIO's breaking out, everybody.
Okay, go ahead, cover that there,
okay,
Sharif,
absolutely. So I forget who was asking about FIO, but there was an individual in the chat asking about FIO. Good on you, my friend. What a beautiful hold up at the volume weighted average price here on PHIO. It's up a respectable 36.36%. It's dancing with $3 right now. That is the high of the day on PHIO. I absolutely admire this pullback into VWAP, not because it was VWAP, but because it was VWAP and price action, previous resistance, now support. I'm talking about this area crest initially at 260, area trough over here at 260, and then up we go. We take up that 295 previous area high. I am concerned, as I always am, once we get back to that previous area crest, that it could manifest into a double top. That is just my concern. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we're zigging and zagging right now. It looks like, you know, this one's trading a bit spready. So let's have a look at FIO on a trading screen so we can get a better idea of how this bad boy looks on an actual trading screen with what the actual spread is like. Okay, so it's not a bad spread at all. It's 1 penny as we speak. Why was it moving crazy there on the black charts? So PHIO, guys, breaking the high of the day. You got a big boy spike there in volume on the candle, the 5-minute candle at 115. We have about, looks like about 140,000 shares in that 1 5-minute candle, taking us above, or at 3, excuse me. We're below 3 right now. PHIO should be in focus if you're looking at these small cap gappers. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe.
No, not at all. Don't apologize. Guys, we've been neglecting this for too long here now, so we got to get right back into it. This is the Playmaker poll. For those who are new and are not aware of what we've been doing, we have been constructing a trade on the SPY. Very simple parameters, all right? So what we're looking for is a $2 move in the underlying asset and then a $1 stop loss, whether it be to the top side or to the downside. We put the voting in the chat. You vote whether we're going to go long or short. And this has been the result thus far of us collecting data. I mentioned this time and time again, what a beautiful piece of work of art this is. Like fantastic. This can be a screensaver. This is screensaver.
This guy's obsessed with his data.
This is screensaver type stuff here, guys. But look at all this data we collected as a unit. You guys voted. We do this. We're going to hop to Adara in just 1 second, Treat, but we are going long on the Playmaker, I believe, today. So let's collect this information.
I'm ready.
And then we're going to send it to Adara. Okay. All right, so what is our entry price?
$538.50.
$538.50.
We're taking profits at $540.50.
$540.50.
And we're stopping out at $537.50.
$537.50.
Adara.
And we're going long Adara.
Yeah, we're still waiting here on Caroline Levitt in this White House press conference. But in the meantime, let's take a moment to thank our friends at ProfitX, because in sports playing, flexibility is everything. At ProfitX, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange.
So nice.
Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why would you settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it so easy to play on the go. ProfitX, where you call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. ProfitX, back to you.
Yes, thank you for that, Adara. So there we go, guys. That is logged. This is all the data. This is trade number 79. Going to do the cumulative accuracy on this as well, too. So we'll figure out a percentage metric to see, again, what is the percentage that we are shooting the accuracy. But here we go. Still positive. This is the equity curve on the cumulative P&L, continuing to climb higher. Just off of those all-time highs is the Playmaker pull. All right, let's see what we got going on here, guys. I was going to take a short on the Qs. At the break of these key support levels, we're starting to tank now. Katina, man, are you still short Apple? Let's pull up Apple to see what he's up to. Now down south of 2%, Shreve. 2 1/5 here on META, continuing to bleed. Katina, man, is $2. He's been in the club for $2 now. Intel's $1 now. No, it's breaking down. He's in Intel as well. But here we go, guys, on the Qs, continuing to bleed, breaking through some key support levels. That is something very, very important. Let's see if we get into 455, because that's where we have the highest level of OI here, guys. It looks like if Meta continues to bleed and some of the other big names decide they want to break down, we're going to be in 455. There's no doubt about that.
All right, guys, we're in PHIO. I took a beak wetter already out there. It's a very aggressive move. I'm going to try my best to defend into 3, knowing full well that the bottom could absolutely drop off. I'm looking for a parabolic move up, especially the vigor with which we broke 3. Now, we're going to have to see if this one has some continuation left in its sails or what the situation is going to be. We're up about 41% and change, but we are being met with some selling here at 10s. I wet the beak there at 12s. But the same short seller or the same profit taker is back at that 10 penny level. I'm long 8s. I added twice into this. Let me just be full disclosure with you. That was a fat finger. I didn't mean to add the second time, but we're going to deal with the shares that we've got. We're continuing to watch that 10 penny level here on PHIO because there is a seller of note. Now, the question I want to ask myself is a dip into 3. Am I adding into a dip into 3 to get a better price? If I'm adding there, then my thesis has to be that $3 level will act in the same way that $2 level did on OST. It doesn't have to be the same type of trade. So that's what I've got to really ask myself here. I think I'm just going to do it. I mean, to get the better price. In fact, I won't even sit right at 3. Oh, wow, this one's already losing the bid. An aggressive move down into that 90 area. Anything below 90, I'm gone already on this. We've got 04s, so it's right back into 3. This is crazy. I didn't think it was going to trade in this way. It hadn't been trading in this way. And now there's a seller at 3 of note. Let's see if we can take them out. So I've got 04s, so let's go ahead and set up. So if we do get a price spike up, I get something over here. We move back down into 90. 90 was the level here, it looks like. It wasn't 3. 3 is the whole dollar level. The reason I say 90, well, that's where the closing prints had rejected off. And then look, lo and behold, we dip right into 90 and then it finds support. So now this is going to have to cooperate. It's going to have to get back above 3. Otherwise, I've got nothing to do with this one. Anything below the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, which is currently at 288, gets me out of this trade. So let's go ahead and put that stop in now so that there's no subjectivity to it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sit like that. And then we're going to sit like that for that many shares. So then we already put that in. We take out the subjectivity. Now, watching here at $3. We're at 3 right now, but there's a seller at 3. In the same way that we had that seller at 3.10, now it looks like that very similar seller has moved down into that $3 area. Above 3 we go on the ask, not on the bid. That is important to make that distinction because it has to cross on the ask for me to get printed. In the same way, excuse me, that we have to cross down below the bid on the short to get printed, kind of the opposite look there. So that's what I'm watching right now, Joe. I'm watching that $3 area on PHIO, which has been kind of tough to get back above. Simultaneously, I want to tell you that OST is trying to also get right back above 3. This one also dipped down into the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 and then rocketed right back above that $3 area. OST, a lot more notional of a move than PHIO. Same price, different price action. So that's what I'm watching right now, Joseph. Let's see what we get here.
Good look there. And thank you, BVB, for letting me know that, yeah, we didn't even last 10 minutes in that trade there. Normal and bear versus bulls. We got stopped out real quick. And DJ, yeah, let them know, Joe. We need everyone to hit that like and subscribe and turn on the, okay.
Hit it, Joe.
Listen,
there it is.
You have
Here
the
it is,
option
right?
to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside. Damn.
Boom.
All right, you know what I mean? So there you go. Just hit that like and subscribe. We're not asking for too much here, guys. It's just a simple click of the button. So make sure you like and subscribe. And it's just, oh, there we go. See, a much better looking person than I doing that one. So there you go. Follow that. So yeah, I mean, just hit it, right? If you guys want to chime in on the chat, you got to be subscribed because it's a subscribers only chat. So yeah, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And what are we sitting at here for likes there, Sharif? I haven't really looked today. So, but sorry, I don't even know what the number is, but we got to get that up. So make sure you do so. AK Mr. On. Whoa, 5,000.
Yeah, that's a multiple of 10.
500.
That's not gonna work out.
Yeah,
Tell him, Joe.
500 likes.
That's not going to work out, Joe.
Come on,
That's
at
not
least
gonna work out, Joe.
20%. Give us 1,000. Give us 20% at least, no?
Oh, wow, Katina, man. Thanks, bro. We feel real good about ourselves now, Katina, man. Katina man's dropping hot lines there while eating his food.
Yeah, that's
Katina, man,
cool,
show the people what we got, baby.
We eating there,
Show the
brother.
people what we got. All right, let's go to the Katina man screen if we can.
Yeah, pull it up.
All right, we're going to Tariff first, I guess.
They don't want to see the food then. They don't want to see the food.
We have Caroline Levitt. She has just taken the stage. Apologized for her tardiness. She was about half an hour late, but just be aware, Caroline Levitt, White House press secretary, is talking. Also, worth noting here, if you like infographics, X, just go on X at TTV Research. We have so many of those for you. This is an 11 post series story about all of the top and bottom performers in each S&P 500 sector. That's right, all 11 sectors in Q1 2025. So if you want to see which of these tickers were the winners and the losers of the quarter in their respective sectors, go on X at TTV Research. We have a whole thread with all 11 S&P 500 sectors and the best and worst name in each sector. So that is 55 tickers in total. Check that out, X at TTV Research. Caroline Levitt still talking. With that, I will send you back to the Bash Brothers.
See what we going on. Okay, Damien, you can't say that. All right, I gotta hide that. Joseph is an options play on TLT for to 100 to 60 days out. A decent look. Great question. Let's take a look at that. But we got to cover this first there, Jameson. We'll take a look. You said you were going short BAC. We're starting to get this pop. We're heading back in towards the high of this resistance zone here on BAC. This thing is going to be a slow grind. I think it will start to get the ball rolling maybe around 230 if a buy program does decide that it wants to step in. So I'm going to be patient and hold on to that one. But let's go back and see what we traded here earlier on the day. It is already 130, which is insane. Time just flies when you're having fun and you're with all great people. But let's see what we got going on here on Nvidia. This was one of our better trades on the day. So you can see we started really small, wide stop. Thesis starting to work. We add up again, we add again, and then we just really double up the size here, guys. And then we almost get the top right here, right around. Yeah, why? Boom! There we go. Entry. I'm hungry. I'm always hungry.
Hold on, sorry. I just got
go.
yeah.
Are you good to go? Tell him.
Boom on OST, bro. This is the gift that keeps on freaking giving. All right, we're having a good time. Katina Man almost spit out his food. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. All right, OST is absolutely flying, guys. When I was trying to nurse the PHIO trade, I was looking at the side chart. OST started moving crazy, and when it moves crazy like that, then you know the algos are buying. So I flipped the screen super quick. Got a really crappy price. Not gonna lie, I was trying to punch in at 305. We ended up getting like 317s, scalped all the way up to 340s. This one is continuing to zig and zag though, and I got stopped out of the other trade. So the one hand takes, the other one gives, baby. So PHIO will lose on that one, and that will be negative for me on PHIO. Sucks to be me, but we'll look to do a little bit more damage here on OST. Anything down into that, I want to say that 3 1/4. I'm going to look to add again. Let's see if we can get some in on the micro pullback. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Okay, so let's just go back and review what we've been up to here on the day. So I had a thesis that I thought that NVDA was going to continue to trade higher, where it opened up on the cam range and where we opened up from a daily perspective. So let's see what we have going on. Opening drive, really strong. Positive note. Get involved here on this 3-bar play. I was looking for the continuation and the break of the high day. We didn't get it. So I'm like, okay, we're holding VWAP relatively steady, and we had the inability to construct a new low. Let me add into this position. Didn't work out. Gave it as much room as I possibly could, and then we got stopped out here. But I'm like, wait, we still haven't put in a new low. Let me get back into this because I'm going to stick with it, and I still have a couple swings left in my on that plate here. All right, so here we go. Enter, add, and then we take it all off, or we didn't take it all off. We took some off there at 113.50, and then as we're on the backside of this trend, I continued to take it out, and that's where I got all of the position out just before I came to the break even, stop out break even, and that was that. So 1 for 2, and then we trade IBIT. That didn't work out. Same thing. I'm like, oh, okay. I think we can continue to climb here in IBIT. So what do? I get in here, starts working, add to the position, but the price action wasn't strong enough in order for me to add aggressively for that break of the volume weighted average price, and we continued to, we rejected this key support level right here, came down, and then that's when I got out, and then this was just an error, so I got out right away. So that was it, what we had on NVDA and IBIT. We're still sitting in BAC here, Sharif.
All right, we keep doing it here on OST. It keeps zigging and zagging. I added on the micro pullback into 39s, and I scalped up into 52s. This has got a high a day 65, okay? So what I mean by micro pullback, guys, when it becomes parabolic like this, it doesn't just go up into the high of the candle and stay at the high of the candle. It zigs and zags. It drops back in a little bit. That's where you should be picking it up. Keep your eye on technical levels. Adair's got breaking news.
I do, Sharif. So Caroline Levitt's still talking. She hasn't been asked any questions yet. That's usually when we'll get more market-related information. But Apple on watch. Apple Insider reporting here, according to a frequent Apple leaker called Instant Digital, the price for this foldable iPhone could be anywhere from, $2,100 to $2,300. So apparently, AAPL could be charging up to $2,300 for their foldable iPhone. This person who leaked the information said they got this price range based on Apple's typical iPhone profit margin. So based on some profit margin calculations, this Apple foldable iPhone could cost up to $2,300. Caroline Levitt's still talking. I will still be listening to that. And back to you.
Easy. 2,300. You dropping 2,300?
No way, man. I got the hand-me-down from Selena.
Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't even get a new one. I had a 10.
You're like my old man. He doesn't give a
as long as he can text. Yeah, but the thing is, though, I would have still had my old one, but the issue was that I couldn't even, like, the storage was so full, so I couldn't even open up Gmail or anything like that.
Bro, Apple's crazy with these storage upgrades, bro.
So
it's like you jump up like
a
couple of gigs and it's like triple the price. You know it doesn't cost them that much, man. Storage is cheap these days.
Okay, so one morning I'm messaging Neil, and then I open up Gmail, and then after a message later, it says, okay, it undownloads the app. It says I don't have enough storage, and I see a notification from Neil, and so I tried to sign onto my computer. Then it's like, okay, I tried to use the verification on my phone. It says not enough storage for the verification. So I'm like, all right, that's enough. If I can't even access a simple email, see you later. And then that's when we got the hand-me-down upgrade. So.
All right, keep going for a second.
Yeah, all right, yeah, no problem. Let's see what we got going on. We're still holding on to this BAC.
Right.
What a slow grind here, guys. Yeah, there we go.
All right, newer traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. That'll allow you to trade smarter, not harder, especially if you upgrade to Elite. You'll be able to analyze, you'll be able to strategize, and then hopefully after that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You can also do great back testing and predict better with reliable back testing. It's also got reliable real-time data and global markets at your fingertips. All in one platform. Do not miss out, guys. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at
E-Trade. E-Sig.
E-Signal, sorry. There's no such thing as E-Trade. Is E-Trade even available in Canada? I don't even think it is, yeah. Hold on.
So shout out to them.
Who owns E-Trade now? Is this Schwab?
I have no idea.
I think it's Schwab, isn't it? Yeah. Guys, this is getting crazy here on OST. We're going to have to get it back in somehow, man. This is getting nuts here, Joseph. It's getting real wild up in this place. So let's see if we can extract some profitability here on OST as this zigs and zags at the $0.00 of a dollar. Here comes 69er, but we can't take it out at 69s because we're long at 67. So we're going to have to wait for the squeeze. Aggressive price action today, but there certainly is a seller in the low 70s, and boom, we go again, man, on OST. This is the gift that keeps on giving, guys. We are on the way to $4. OST's up almost 400%, and we've been involved in this, you know what, since $1.50. And I love the fact that I was able to do this because I always commended the Katina, man. I always commended Adara for keeping these stocks on the rope. They wouldn't let them off. And Joseph, you do the analogy as well, man. Yeah, you keep that bad boy on the rope, man. When they're hurt, you keep them, come with the cross. Shout out to my man, Ryan Garcia, who looked good in trading today. Hopefully he doesn't take any more SARMs.
Yeah, we don't want him on the old Osti there.
I know, we had to look it up. We had trouble pronouncing it too. Oh my God, Joseph, this is going, bro. It's continuing to go. OST.
You're out.
I'm out, bro. It's a scalp trade, man. These are small cap guys.
Devin Haney.
Okay, Devin Haney.
Make sure when
Devin
you
Haney sucks, bro.
You put in at Devin Haney, okay? It's at Devin Haney. It's no longer at
man.
Come on,
I gotta get my
BAC.
dad to start suing everybody for me and stuff like that, Devin.
no.
I don't, because he's suing Garcia, man. He's suing him for assault. Did you know that?
No.
He slapped an assault. Because of the PED.
Yeah, on the old
stuff.
PED.
So he's like,
that's what happens when you catch a old whooping like that. You get a little frustrated.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
Let's see. Come on, BAC. Get the ball rolling. We got Sharif's underlying moving really, really well. We want BAC to break out. I do believe it's going to take until 2 o'clock. So, yeah, got to be patient in this one. But sideways price action still up about 4% or 4.5% here on BAC. So going to be patient until we break down. I'm going to sit in this trade. The market looking like it is starting to recover and back towards the volume weighted average price. We punched through some key support levels, but now you're seeing buyers slowly start to step back in as we head back towards VWAP. I mean, for the majority of the day here, guys, like look at this chop span here. So we'll call it from 10:30 all the way to about 12:50. So that's 2.5 hours of just sideways price action. That's not fun. That's not necessarily something that you want to see. But let's zoom out and see what we got going on these higher time frames. But I like this potential double bottom, no newer low. So constructing a higher low, and we're continuing to grind higher. That is a positive sign for somewhat of a market pullback. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on. After this engulfing candle right here, we've just been kind of within the range of it, so multiple inside days. Let's crack through this resistance and head towards back some of these highs. I would like to see a nice strong bounce here in the market from the peak to where we're currently sitting at, down 15.25 still, guys. I would like to see that down about 10% because I bought some NVDA. Katina, man, I bought some NVDA this morning at 111, my friend. So yeah, bang. I'll throw it up for myself there, bang. NVDA 111, we're back into that one.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go, let's go. But I also bought, full disclosure, I bought some IBIT, which isn't working out. But hey, we like NVDA, so.
Joseph, I did this last week, and I'm going to do it again.
Do it again.
This is such a bad-ass rap. Guys, look at the screen.
Yeah, you like this.
Katina, man, look at the screen, brother. Look at this, bro. Well, it's invisible, bro. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's insane. You're gonna have to kind of, bro. I don't want to hear you talk about the car. Where the hell is it, man? You idiot.
Guys, hold
on. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say something in the chat here. So, guys, there's a black. It's like Mente black or something like that. What is the darkest shade? I want to know. I'm pretty sure you guys would know. So put it in the chat. I'm pretty sure it's like Mente black or something. It's crazy.
Look at this. Can we show this screen?
Up there.
Yeah. Look at that thing come out, bro. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Wow. I gotta tell you, I don't like the wheels though. He doesn't have the big wheel covers. That's a downgraded. That's the downgraded wheel package, by the way. That's not the.
Adara, you like that?
Adara, I asked you last week, Adara, Saibi, no Saibi. You gave me the.
Yeah. You can't stand on the fence like that.
Right.
Adara.
She said it's beautiful. So you guys got the nod from Adara. The human algo likes it, and I'm more pleased I could not be.
No, it's not that. It's not. It's more like aggressive. I think more. I
really like it.
Yeah, all right. That's.
Thank you, Adara.
I really like it.
Tonneau cover. Joseph, you can jump up and down on that thing. Takes 350 pounds. What I like about it is that at night, it looks invisible.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
I mean, I think, man, we put it in there, either the Cybertruck or the Gladiator, and it was close, man.
How do you spell Huawei? Do you know? H-U-A-I, Huawei, there it is. Huawei triple fold. This is the one that I want to show. So Apple, obviously.
Marquise?
Yeah, that's Marquise Brownlee. So I like him, so we'll give him a bit of a nod. This is the Huawei. No, is this a triple foldable phone? No, that's not the triple.
Yeah,
that's
Vanta Black. Vanta Black.
Vanta Black, that's
Vanta
the one.
Black.
Okay,
Thank you, chat. You guys, man, you guys are undefeated.
This is the one, Joseph. This is a triple foldable phone. Let's just look at this, bro. Look at this. 1, 2.
Wow.
Huawei.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
So Apple's a little bit behind, bro. If they're gonna have a double screen, a fold, you're gonna need a triple because Huawei is already ahead.
That was Marquise Brown.
No, that guy's not Marquise Brown. I did. It was a double folded phone on that one.
You gotta check this out here.
What's going on there, Joseph?
Let me pull it up here real quick for you.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's what you're talking about there. I've heard about this. I've heard about this.
The Vanta Black there.
That's crazy.
You lose that
at night.
You lose that. Yeah. If you park.
That's obviously a wrap. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
right?
it has to be. I think. Yeah. That is a serious color. That Vanta Black.
That's crazy dark, dude.
Yeah.
That's like what's it called? OLED blacks on the OLED screen. You look like they get the real dark blacks on that. Yeah, man, it's a beautiful look. Beautiful look. JCB Sports, quick 70 cent scalp on OST, literally in and out in 5 minutes. That's the way it's done, my man. Reduce your exposure to these very volatile names. If you can get in big boy size and get out quick as you like, I think that is the best formula for these small cap gappers. You're gonna feel a whole bunch of, I left money on the table, but then that's where you need to exercise gratitude, I think, in my humble submission. And the reason I say that is, they don't all run like this, JCB, you know that. Like sometimes we get a 50% mover, sometimes we'll get a 30, and then sometimes we'll have a 400% mover, but it's not every day we're seeing these triple digit ones continue through multiple dollar levels, and that's why I say scalp and get the hell out of there. Adara, news.
Be aware here, this is the NASDAQ, and it is on watch. We still have Caroline Levitt answering questions here in the White House. Again,
Randy,
she usually starts at 1, but she started a little bit later today, so she's still talking. But when asked about these trade deals, she said she believes that they can announce some deals very soon. Apparently, they have more than 15 trade deal proposals that are actively being considered, but apparently Donald Trump wants to sign off on any deal himself. So there are about 15 deals on the table, but before they can get any of those through, we have Donald Trump, President of the United States, has to approve them. She does believe, though, this can happen pretty soon. Back to you.
Dara, Thank you for keeping us apprised. Obviously, very hard to keep tabs on the press conferences while we're doing the show. They're chaotic by nature, and then while we're also doing the show. So it's great to have Adara at the big desk listening to actually the things that matter and reporting to us. So we're going to thank her for that, obviously. Yeah, I mean, great reporting as always, Adara, and that's just a fact. So what do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, good stuff. I want to take a couple steps back here, Sharif, and kind of get back into this folding phone conversation that we were going on with earlier. We went over some Marquise Brownlee stuff, all right? So what happened with this Apple Intelligence release? It was absolutely botched to the max. Well, one thing that noted is that we had no beta trial. There was nothing that would say, hey, we're kind of in this phase, we're ready to release soon. It wasn't even close to ready. Now we got Huawei, they've released that folding phone, but yet Apple's coming out with a thinner version of the iPhone. Do we need that? No, we talk about it day after day on the show. They are lacking innovation, and that is why you can see that this stock is in great trouble. There's also other reasons, right? I mentioned that Google amounts to about 25% of Apple's service revenue, right? If Google has to divest from Chrome, that is not going to be good either. So that is also hurting the stock. But for me, they need to come out with something new. I don't like the fact that they botched this AI release. They're not even advertising it anymore. And Huawei has multiple phones. We have one form of phone. It's just either thicker, thinner, or slightly more larger, and you get a better camera. I'm still waiting something much bigger from Apple, and I don't see that coming down the pipeline again.
Well, we'll see what they've got. I mean, it's just hard to know. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I need to see more innovation. That's just the fact of the matter. In addition to that, it's software innovation too. Like, they should be getting that right. They are known, obviously, as kings of hardware. They have excellent hardware. I have no complaints about that. Like, I never complained about my phone. My phone never steers me wrong. Where I was disappointed, though, was the fact that they were quick to jump the gun on AI, even though they weren't. And here's what I mean by that. So we didn't hear anything from Apple in 2023 about AI, right? The first thing we got was in WWDC 24. That was June, almost a year ago. So they went all of 23 not saying a peep about AI, despite the fact that ChatGPT came out in November of 22. So they were late to the party. In addition to the fact that they were late to the party, they jumped the gun because they didn't have it ready. So they were so gung-ho about releasing their AI because they felt they were behind, that even though they were behind, they were still even more behind than we thought. So I am disappointed about that. What I am happy about was that heads rolled. Heads have to roll in situations like that. When you're putting out advertisements, you're putting out commercials, you're saying, you're basically saying, buy the 16, it's Apple Intelligent friendly. What Apple Intelligence, man? So that's where I have my reservations. Now, the beautiful thing is, it's a software fake, so you don't have to necessarily buy a new phone, drop a new gadget. I'm okay with them, getting it right on the second time. Not ideal, but we'll see what they do. I don't think they get it wrong a second time. That's just my inclination. They haven't been wrong too many times. Whether they get it wrong a second time, again, it's future, right? So neither of you and I are Nostradamus. But to get 0-2 on this, they're really going to lose a lot of confidence on that.
What I was reading is that one of Steve Jobs' key rules was never release a product until it was 100% ready.
Exactly.
And that's where Timmy C went wrong. He released it too soon, and the advertisement just added salt to that wound.
Agree.
iPhone 16 built for Apple Intelligence. Where is it? Now that's been prolonged to the 17, and we still haven't even seen it. I don't know.
No. It's got the processor in the 16 is good.
Oh, okay.
Right? But
no, but the release of the
we don't know.
To
We don't.
to
It could come anytime. That's the thing,
Okay.
Joseph. That's why I'm saying it's software related. So you don't necessarily need that hardware release that we get on a yearly basis. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, fair enough. So there you go. There it is. But it was still botched. We agree on that, and it's not a good look. We mentioned that they're never first to it. They're never to finish first. They're not first in line, but they tend to do it the best. So let's see if they can pull a cat out of the hat and get it right.
They better get it right, bro.
Yeah,
they really better get it right. Their reputation is on the line, bro.
The potential is there, right? Siri, Siri
is hot garbage.
It's hot garbage.
Garbage.
But when it first came out, it was the bee's knees.
It was okay. Maybe be in 2012.
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly,
fair.
exactly.
But I want to talk about recent, bro. Google has been superior to Siri. I mean, like, I will literally go into the Google app to use the voice prompts rather than hitting the home button to trigger Siri. I'm talking about for more complicated stuff. Like if I just want to find out the score or the time or set an alarm, okay, fine. Siri does the trick. But it's very basic, bro. It's like level 1. You know what I mean?
It is level 1.
So I've always had an issue with that. I completely agree with you on that. Siri, to this day, is still hot garbage. And how they botched the sending to ChatGPT, weren't they supposed to send the more complicated queries to ChatGPT, that ones that used Siri? It was supposed to go to chat, and you were supposed to sign off on that security. How'd you botch that, man?
I don't know, man.
Like, how do you botch that? That's what I don't even understand.
Heads started rolling.
Yeah, heads had to have rolled there, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to ever champion people losing their jobs, but somebody botched this, and you know you can't really trust them to get it right if they didn't get it right the first time. So we'll have to wait and see.
MK Ultra, what?
What's going on there?
Oh, hit the Canada thing for me there.
Absolutely, Will. You don't have to ask me twice about that. Why can't we hear these animations?
Canada is awful. What? Come on, man. We gotta remove that one there.
Who said that?
Hey, we're not gonna say we're not.
Block him, bro. What is he? He's talking crap about Canada.
You can't say MK.
Do you realize we live here, right?
You know what I mean.
You okay, bro?
Come on, man.
No.
Some
Anyway.
respect.
Yeah, so that's my little rant there for a second. I'm sorry to go on a bit of a rant. I mean, a lot of people are involved in Apple, myself included, and it pains me to say it, man. I mean, I'm not happy that I saw my portfolio drop from $260 a share down to $167. $100 in like, I don't know. What was that? A couple months. I think we topped out January. December.
December, yeah.
Right? So it was a bit of a tough look. Now, having said that, I took advantage of the opportunity when it was at those levels.
And what did you do? What'd you do, brother?
Well, we added.
Tell them what you did.
Yeah, we announced. On the day that we added, we made the announcement so there wouldn't be any, Sharif didn't say he had. No, I made it very clear on the day that we added. So there it is, man. I mean, Apple. Now, of the Mag 7, Joseph, now we've crapped all over Apple, right? And deservedly so. Oh, you okay, Adara? Yeah. All right. There's lots of news, so we are going to Adara at the big desk.
Jim Lee, see you later, brother.
So here is Meta. Keep an eye on Meta at Snapchat, Google, anything with the social media element. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, was just asked, are there any thoughts here with regards to the timeline on this TikTok ban? Because the second extension expires on June 19th. Caroline Leavitt said, well, I believe that's about 2 months away, and June 19th is a long time away, and the administration moves at Trump's pace. So she basically did not have an answer. We're really unclear as to what these negotiations are going to be with TikTok, and it is worth noting, Trump's spoken about this as well in Truth Social post. This TikTok negotiation is also on watch at the same time we have very heightened trade tensions between U.S. and China. So apparently he is open at a deal with China, as Caroline Leavitt just said. But again, June 19th is a long time away. Back to you.
Very much a dare. So now that we finished crapping all over Apple, and again, deservedly so, which of these Mag 7s, Joseph, do you think has the best look right now?
NVDA.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make your case.
Well, now we're starting to build chips here in America, right?
Here in America?
Oh, we're sorry, not here in America. Here on the western side of the world,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They can open that
fair,
factory
fair.
there. I think that all these hyperscalers need them, right? These data centers that we're building.
Great.
How many billions are we investing in that? Who's going to be one of the primary beneficiaries of that? Who's going to be one of the beneficiaries when OpenAI really starts to monetize or whatever, everything along those lines? I think that NVDA is at the center of everything, even though it's getting beaten up on these tariffs. I still think it's one of the strongest names and has still potential to continue to grow.
I like this Jim Lee guy. I like the fact that he's delusionally stupid. And one of those people who's too stupid to know they're stupid. It's the double threat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like,
that's a tough
poor
threat.
soul. I'm gonna let him hang out and Bears versus Bulls blocked him. I want to have a little bit of fun with him. Poor soul.
But yeah, that's my case for NVDA.
All right. Yeah,
yourself?
great call there.
How about yourself?
I do agree. With respect to the best Mag 7 name with the best potential.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Joseph. I'm going to go ahead and say after all is said and done and the dust settles, TSLA.
Okay.
That's my call.
Build your case.
I think, so the robotics.
Okay.
full self-drive. And I happen to think that there is probably more down the pipeline there than cars. So it's not just going to be robotics and cars. Yeah,
robotics.
Yeah, and you're going to have like, I don't know. I think we could see some other types of vehicles too coming from Tesla soon.
Okay.
I think they probably throw their hat into the eVTOL ring likely soon.
Well, I mean,
he's not going to make
eVTOL
motorcycles.
But see, the Sharif, here's my counter on
Go
this
for
one.
it,
The
yeah.
eVTOL,
Yep.
I'm going to slightly argue that. Where's the Model 2?
Yep.
Right? Where is the Roadster?
But that's like asking where the Model 3 was before it was released. We know it's coming out.
We've been talking about the Roadster since 20.
I don't care about the Roadster. I care about the Model 2.
And the Model 2, how long
The Model
has that
2
been
is
going on?
super important. Well, we'll be talking about the Model 2 for like almost a year.
A little bit, I would go
No,
closer to,
the Model 2 was called the Model Q initially, and then we called it the Model 2. And it was, in fact, Reuters who reported that they weren't going to actually drop it. And that was like maybe 6 months, 8 months ago. So I think if you add another 6 months onto that, I think that's about a year.
I do agree with you on the FSD aspect. That can add another $1 trillion to the market cap. I think that's going to be evolutionary when it especially starts to come en masse. And you can get it into major metropolitans like here in Toronto and then start in Austin, which he's supposed to do. I just don't like how long and how prolonged this delivery has been.
Yeah, well, it's never easy, but you have to understand that Tesla went through this cycle before. When they were scaling from the Model S and the Model X into the Model 3 and the Model Y, they had a big downturn. So Elon Musk actually made a call to Timmy C. Timmy C didn't take the call. And his prerogative there was to actually have Apple invest in Tesla. So strapped were they for cash. You know, and then they obviously came on the other side of that. Okay, once the Model 3 scaled, the Model Y becoming the best-selling car in the world. So again, you know, Elon, very loosey-goosey with the deadlines, give you that.
100%,
Absolutely.
100%.
But does he deliver? He does.
Yeah, okay.
He does.
So
He's delivered everything.
That's fair. So let's look at, I can agree with you. That exactly, Roadster's 6 years late. That's fair. But now let's look at it from...
Roadster. Let's talk about the ones that are going to move the needle.
For sure. Let's talk about it from a competitor standpoint too. Who do you think NVIDIA's largest competitor would be? And then who do you think Tesla's largest competitor would be? And for me, that's going to be Waymo, who is already in multiple cities, more cities than what Tesla has released, even though it's just a software upgrade, right? I still think that Waymo is a couple steps ahead.
Waymo relies on JLR. Whereas Tesla relies on their own cars. So
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. That's
but I want to say something specifically as well, though. That hold on, what was your point before that about
NVIDIA and?
Who do I think is NVIDIA's real honest challenge? A company nobody's ever heard of. It's a Chinese what's it called? Microchip company. It used to trade under SMICY. It's called Semiconductor Manufacturer of China. These guys are actually getting the 3 nanometer process right without ASML's ultraviolet lithography machine. What is coming out of China, I think we're going to get really surprised. We're going to get blindsided by it because they know that the chip game is the end-all and be-all. If they can't get their hand on their chip, so I think NVIDIA's probably biggest competitor is a company nobody's ever even heard of. And it did trade under the ticker SMICY. It no longer trades on that, though. And I think it's just on the Hang Seng or in the Shenzhen exchange. I'm not 100% sure. But that's kind of... Sorry, Neil? It's still on the Hang Seng, Neil says. So that's just my kind of look there. We'll have to wait and see how it all works out.
So I mean, well, if we go back to my year-to-date picks, they're doing absolutely horrible. But I do have Tesla on there, my guy.
Yeah, no, I like Tesla, bro. So. I think there's a lot of headwinds for Tesla
but in the longer duration, you think that there's more potential upside with Tesla?
It's kind of hard to say between Nvidia and Tesla because they're both so good.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to crap on your pick. I think it's a fantastic pick.
I don't think either pick deserves to be. Look what Tesla's done for people. Made how many people millionaires over the past 20 years?
It is so many.
Right? And same with NVIDIA too.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, you almost can't go wrong, I think. So, well, maybe you can, but...
I'm going to try to read your name. Iga Halba. Iga Halba? Did I get that right? The guy that says, have you heard of Kit? Am I even close? Because that's Iga, How, and Ba. I can read those letters. So let me know if I said that right. Have you heard of KITT? He says. So when you get this, when you hear this, just tag me. Let me know if I'm even close to your name or I'm way out to lunch. I'm trying, guys. You know that I'm studying Mandarin every day. TSMC is bringing in 2 nanometers, says GL. Absolutely right. And they're in fact going to make 2 nanometers at the Arizona facility. That's the headline we got today with AMD. So AMD's new processors are going to be built on that 2 nanometer infrastructure. But that doesn't mean the Chinese aren't catching up. And that's what I'm trying to talk about right now. And I think that that's where we may see a little bit of...
I think this race is significantly closer than what we perceive it to.
Agree? Yeah. Passing your cognitive test, says Eddie. I don't know what that means, Eddie. I'm just trying to read some Mandarin letters. So he still hasn't responded. Oh, Sharif, super chat. I'm so sorry about that. I did see it. My mistake. Ven, $6.99 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Thanks, Sharif, for reading my chat earlier for free regarding JNVR. First super chat, first channel to stream on YouTube. Sharif, good hard bro buying membership now. Thank you so much for that kind words, bro. Shout out to Canada, man. He's dropping the cash. We're going to drop the O Canada flag in the chat. Thank you so much for that, and we do appreciate everybody joining us today. But you know what time it is right now, Joseph.
It's 2 o'clock.
Do you even feel that?
2 o'clock.
I didn't feel it.
Time. Mm-hmm.
That guy didn't respond. I wanted to know if I got it right. I'm going to go copy it and see if I got it right. Anyway, guys.
Yang Ji Hao.
Say that again, Neil? Oh, I didn't see. Oh, okay. Did they say I got it right, Neil? I don't know. I can't see it. All right. We're going over to the other stream. It's been real, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Shout out to you guys. I don't know if you got it right because I didn't hear you say it, Sharif, but someone in the chat said it's Yi Ji Hao Ren.